All right, welcome everybody. We just started recording, and this is the 13th Eden Fractal, or no, this is the 14th Eden Fractal meeting. Wow! So also particularly interesting. This is a full quarter of a year now that Eden Fractal has been through so far. So thank you everybody so much for everything so far, and looking forward to many more quarters. And yeah, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so I think that everybody has recording permissions now, so you can feel free to record. There's a couple new people here. We were just talking with Wax and Elias, so welcome. And then also basically what we'll do is we'll break out in the breakout rooms in about 11 minutes, and then we'll do the breakout rooms for 40 minutes. During that time, then we'll each share our contributions to EOS and Eden. Basically, each person will go around, we'll go into breakout rooms of approximately 5 or 6 people in each group. And then each person in each group will take about 3 to 5 minutes to share what they're doing to generally introduce themselves, and then also share what they're doing to help EOS and to help Eden. And then we'll come to consensus in that 40 minutes about the ranks of levels of contributions from 1 to 6, and then we'll put it into a tool, and then people get, if people reach consensus with at least 66%, then they'll receive the EOS and respect from the community. That makes sense? Or you have any questions or anything? And hey, Patrick, and hey, Tadas, and hey, Felix, and hey, Daniel, aka Jorge, and Nicholas.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
There was also, I mean, if anybody has any thoughts you'd like to share in the next 10 minutes, then, feel free to share your thoughts or whatever. Also, after the consensus meeting ends, so we'll end the consensus meeting by, I guess it's 13 UTC, which is about 55 minutes from now. And then we'll usually hang out for at least an hour afterwards just to discuss things going on in Eden ƒractal and Eden and EOS. And so everybody's welcome and encouraged to participate there. And the whole community room is being recorded once again. And then, yeah, also over the past few weeks, we've been talking about an interim consensus process. And I think Tadas made a proposal for this. So I haven't had the chance to study it thoroughly, but I'm looking forward to learning about that, and Tadas can explore with us. Also, Patrick, I believe, made a generous donation to DAS that maybe Patrick would like to talk about. And I also sent funds to Vlad and James this week for smart contract development that I'll also announce more. But yeah, I sent 1,000 EOS from Chief Delegate funding for Vlad and James for building open source software. But yeah, also welcome June too. Thanks for joining us. Great to see you here. And welcome Marco too, of course.
Hey, thanks, Dan. This is my first meeting, so just checking it out. Thanks.
Awesome. Yeah, we've met a lot at the Alien Worlds Ƒractal on Thursdays and Genesis Ƒractal on Saturdays, and I really appreciate all the work that you're doing, June. So it's really awesome to see you here. I suppose while it's quiet, it seems like everybody's super quiet, but while it's quiet, just because June is also your first time, I'll just reiterate what I just shared with Wax and Elias, because it's their first time. But basically, we'll break out into breakout rooms in about 8 minutes, and then we'll do breakout rooms for approximately 40 minutes, and we'll reach consensus just like we do with the other Genesis Ƒractal and Alien Worlds Ƒractal and so forth. But then when we submit our consensus, then we'll submit it into a tool that we'll post into the chat that Vlad built that enables us to enter directly into the EOS blockchain and have it all automated on EOS. And then afterwards, we usually hang out and just talk about stuff for the next hour plus, and we'll probably talk about interim consensus process and all sorts of other interesting things as well.
I think when you record, people second think about what they're going to say, maybe. That's why we're all quiet here.
That's not always true.
No?
Yes, sometimes it gets quite active and people have a lot to say. So it's nice to have the recordings because you can see them all and so forth and go back. But yeah, I mean, feel free. It's also your stage to share your thoughts with the viewers of the YouTube channel and so forth, if you'd like. Maybe I don't know if maybe Tadas would like to briefly share the interim consensus process, or I suppose that probably has more details. Maybe we should wait till afterwards to get into that. Or does anybody have any other thoughts about how we'd like to spend the next 5 minutes? We could also do a push-up contest, I suppose, and just or something.
No, I'm gonna stick around after the meeting. Yeah, to hear that. That's pretty cool that you guys are doing development for this process here. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I was planning to talk about it more in after the breakout rooms, but I posted in the chat the link to. Basically, for now, it's still a draft. Vlad brought up some ideas, comments, which I still haven't fully processed, which I don't know. Now I might want to make some changes to it. So it's still a work in progress, but it would be very useful if as many people as possible looked at it and provided feedback. This way, once it's ready, it will be easier for us to reach consensus on it. Yeah, so yeah, most of the changes will probably won't be that big. So yeah, I think if you look at the current version, you will see the roughly how it will look like in the end. So.
Yeah, if anybody has been following along in the Eden Discord too, there's been lots of discussions in the proposal initiatives channel and several threads that go out of there, where it's been talking about, where the community's been talking about the proposals for interim consensus process and stuff like that, so people can dig in there as well.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? I see some new faces in here.
You know what's funny? I've been waiting all week for this, and I had a lot to say, but I'm not saying anything. It's kind of unusual for me.
Saving it for post discussion.
Yeah, I think that's best.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes it just takes a little bit to get warmed up, and then after the breakout rooms, yeah, we're more lively. It's early for most people here.
Yep.
All right, that's better. You guys can hear me, right?
Yep. Hey, Marco.
I will. quiet room today, no?
Yeah, man. Do you want to share any jokes for us, Marco?
I had a few pilot ones. Let me see if I can get one inverted. My favorite things to do. I don't think I got one. 2 minutes. Oh, well, this was one everyone should know. What do pilots, what does IFR stand for in pilots? IFR.
Patrick
No
said,
one?
"I am Air Force Lion 1."
Well, all right, whatever you want it to be. The joke
Infrared.
is instrument, it's supposed to stand for instrument flight rules, but the joke is I follow roads. And joke because why it's so funny and resonates is that very few pilots who actually have IFR know how to properly use it. And back in the day, before we had modern equipment and stuff like that, even today, it's taught you can follow a highway to your destination, such that back in the day, the way people navigated were along the highways, and then people would go out to their farms and light large fires. So it's a joke with a few levels, a little tragic that some people who got the rating don't know how to use it. But yeah, if you look at it in terms of development and why we're not all flying today like we thought we would back in the 1950s, a lot of the air routes still follow roads, and the airliners and stuff like that. So
Okay,
anyway,
cool.
right
Thank
over, what?
Thank you very much, Marco. It is 13:15, so we should get into it without too much delay now. But I also want to say welcome to Sean's. Sean's, I think I've heard you speak during the fireside chat a bit. So welcome and thank you for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
And I also like the quote that you shared or the lyric that you shared from Pink Floyd, "When you're young, you shine like a diamond," or "Sun like the sun." Actually, I don't know if that's the one, but anyway, yeah, welcome. And just to provide you a quick overview in case you're not familiar with how this works, we're going to break out into breakout rooms right now with groups of approximately 5 to 6 people. And then each person will share in their group what they've been doing to help EOS and Eden for about 3 to 5 minutes. You can introduce yourself as well. If you could turn your camera on, that would be appreciated as well. And then we'll have about 40 minutes during that room to reach consensus about the relative rankings of contributions between 1 and 6 in each room. And then we'll come back to this room. Everybody will submit their consensus, and then we'll have a chat with just a community discussion after that. That make sense? Shine on, you crazy diamond. That's right. Okay, yeah, and Felix just shared it in the chat as well. The link to the app that we will vote in, and I'll create the breakout rooms now. And then if anybody has any questions, you can ask people in your breakout rooms. Is there anything you're going to say there, Felix?
Yeah, I was just gonna say when you get in the breakout room, just keep make sure you know what room number. That's what goes in the group number part of the app. And then yeah, for those first time using it, basically that just gets submitted once consensus has been reached. But as you go through the list, you can go ahead and start to populate all the names in there. And then what that's basically doing is it's posting it on chain, the consensus results, and then we're cross-referencing that before we create the multi-sig to do the payouts.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and yeah, you don't have to worry about it. Yeah, because we can also figure out the things afterwards. But yeah, sounds good. Thanks, Felix. I'll start the breakout rooms now. Hope everybody has a great time.
What are we doing?
Yeah, hey, Sean. So also one thing I'll mention too that I forgot to mention before to you after you joined is that we're recording and we'll share this on social media.
Okay.
But then, yeah, I just joined a moment late. So does anybody else want to respond to Sean's, or should I? And also, do you pronounce your name Sean's or Shan's or
Chance. Yeah.
Shan's? Okay, thank you. Cool. So I suppose I'll answer, reiterate, and then feel free to ask for any clarification, Chance. So yeah, basically, in a moment or a couple moments, then we'll start just going around. Each of us will share our contributions basically to EOS and Eden, or Eden, either one. And yeah, it'd also be great if you'd like to introduce yourself and just share your history with the community and how you found us and how you joined us and stuff like that. And then we'll each do that for about 3 to 5 minutes. And then afterwards, then we'll discuss who made the highest contribution to the community. And we'll come to consensus about that. And then whoever did that will be level 6. And then we'll discuss who did the second most contribution for the community. And then that'll be at level 5 and so forth until we get the relative contributions 1 through 6 that each person brought to the community in the past week or longer. And then at the end of it, then we'll enter it into the tool, and then people will get different amounts of EOS and respect based upon the different levels. Does that make sense?
Yes, makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, great. Would anybody like to go and share your contribution first? If not, then I'm happy to go.
Yeah, go on.
Okay, sounds good. I feel like I've been talking a lot. Actually,
I'm still thinking about what I've done last week, so give me a minute.
Okay, yeah, I'm actually not sure if my presentation is quite ready. Can somebody else go? Maybe Patrick, can you go first? Or Jorge?
I prefer to go last. So anyone is free to go first, okay? So Nicola, go first if you want.
We are back in elementary
Welcome
school.
To the bees.
No one wants to answer the teacher's answer question. Like
it seems to be that when I did not open my mouth, no one is speaking. So
I'm also ready to go now. I just wasn't sure if I got my presentation. Oh, it's not working actually. What's going on here? Actually, no, I think I figured it out.
Damn, a new presentation, maybe?
I should be more prepared too, but then Chris and everybody kept sending me messages, so I didn't have a chance to refine my presentation, but I'm ready now. Okay, I'll share the presentation. Sorry for the delay, everybody. I'll also start a timer for myself too, so I won't go for too long. And into the presentation I go. I hope everybody enjoys. Yeah, so this is what I've been doing to help the Eden and EOS community and also Eden ƒractal this week. So one thing that I did this week that I'm really excited about is helping both the EOS community and the ƒractal community. I've been participating and I'm planning to co-host some meetings with Joshua. I've participated in like 4 of these meetings the past week. Joshua is hosting meetings for unpacking more equal animals and studying the ƒractal white paper, which is all very relevant for Eden ƒractal, and growing awareness and adoption for ƒractal governance and building next generation DAO and establishing your ƒractal DAOs. These are every weekday at 18 UTC. So I encourage everybody to join. So far I've joined like 3 or 4 and we've discussed with a bunch of people. It's been pretty small, but we've been having some great meetings with several members of the faculty team. So that's really cool. This week I also sent 1,000 EOS to James Mart for open source software development for Eden ƒractal in public goods, in retroactive public goods funding. This was from my chief delegate funding. And I also sent 1,000 EOS to Vlad, which wasn't open properly, but the transaction is right here, as you can see. So Vlad's also been doing awesome work building the tool that we're using and many other things behind the scenes as well. And then I also managed the Eden ƒractal Twitter account. So this week I sent out, just yesterday I sent out the tweet with the art showing how much Eden and EOS and NFTs everybody earned and so forth. And then I posted that in a bunch of different channels to help promote it around the EOS community. I've been working a few weeks ago. I made an interim consensus proposal so that we can make decisions as a community. And I haven't added to this week. I added to it over the past couple of weeks. But then I've been just following along closely and reading all the ideas because Tadas and Gian and Jorge and several other people have been sharing a lot of ideas. So I've been following and just thinking and writing notes in the background and so forth. This is Tadas's proposal. So I'm looking forward to discussing that more. And I think that'll be really helpful for the community. This past week, I also hosted the hot sauce. And so I talked about a bunch of topics for the hot sauce about the ENF 1-year anniversary and so forth. A couple topics that were particularly interesting and relevant for this community. One, I did a topic about the Eden fractal and about Eden in general and share what we're doing here, kind of like a quarterly update on Eden fractal. And then also I did a story on BBS. BBS I've been talking about is a tool that's a social media app that's quite good on EOS. And I think that we can use that on with the Eden Fractal Respect to make a really cool social media app that works with the ƒractal white paper. There's just one screenshot here, but I've been writing a bunch of messages in the Eden Discord and Eden Telegram and stuff like that. So I can't show too much here because I haven't had screenshots, but I did that. I also wrote the Everything EOS Weekly Report, which I was paid to do, and this was by EOS Nation, but I put a lot of time and effort into writing this every week and write long and detailed articles, and you can see this article about Eden updates and about the Eden fractal and so forth, and lots of Eden updates for the past few months here, as well as the story about BBS. I encourage everybody to learn more about BBS, and I think it's really cool. So there's that. I also participated along with Patrick in like an epic 6.5 hour long town hall that we had this week. We only recorded 7 minutes and it was like 8 of us. Also, Nicholas was there for about half of it too. So thank you, Nicholas. And
it lasted 6 hours.
It lasted 6.5 hours. Yeah.
On Sunday. Cool. That's great, guys.
Yeah. So it was a fun time and we had a lot to discuss. So it was good. And then also I participated in the Alien Worlds Fractal meetup from this week. And I did presentations like this about Eden Fractal and helping promote it and so forth. I do that every week. And also Genesis Fractal, I also do the same thing. So I've been sharing stuff about Eden Fractal with Dan Larimer and the faculty team and a bunch of people in the community. I also participate in chief delegate meetings every week. And I've been working on a bylaw for Eden that I'll share more details about here soon. My notes are kind of sloppy, so I apologize for that. But yeah, basically new bylaws. And I've also been studying, reading a bunch of stuff like from Mike Manfredi, published an article recently. And I participated in the Helios Space talking about Eden Fractal and stuff. And yeah, studying, watching all the videos that people are making. And yep, I suppose I'll wrap it up there. And once again, encourage people to join these meetings that Josh was hosting. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Dan. I can go next.
Sounds good. Thank you, Nicholas.
Yeah. Can I share my screen? Because then,
yes.
So yeah, you can give me the authorization.
Yep, you should be able to share it now.
Oh yeah. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so guys, for a chance that don't know who I am, I'm Nicholas. I'm one of the builders at EOSBiz. Quick words: EOSBiz is an organization that created a new way to make marketing around EOS. How we do that is that we have hundreds of bees register, and when a project about EOS wants their tweet to be like amplified, we ask all our bees to like and retweet this tweet so that it can trend, and so that's great for the tweet and for EOS because it increased the engagement metric about EOS. And so last week we didn't do a lot of swarms. We only do 1 or 2, I guess. The last one was the bio tweet, so it went well with no problem. We're still working on finding new clients. This is the whole game. So we hope and we know that we're going to have way more clients in the coming weeks. And so we're going to have more and more swarms. So that's that. We reached 444 accepted bees. So we are still growing. So that's great. This is the whole point about scaling. This is the most important number at EOSB. So we're still working behind doors. So yeah, that's that. Something that I never mentioned before. I don't know if you saw that on Twitter. So I've been doing since February a Twitter account called EOS Price Index. And I've been working on that from February, working on doing things better. And what it does is that every Monday I publish 2 like indexes, a little bit like the cryptoframe grid, and the index works like higher it is, the more higher the bigger the opportunity about buying EOS is, so the cheaper it is basically. And so I created now 2 indexes. The first one is like a medium term for the coming months and a half, and then a long term, like more than that, so in the long future. And what I do is that I publish every week those indexes. It changes depending on some variable that I took into account. So this is technical analysis. This is why I didn't talk about that so far. The reason why I talked about that, and maybe you can tell me can debate about that if it is a contribution or not, is because Felix has so shorts of Felix on YouTube talking about technical analysis. So I figure like maybe I can talk about that and can debate about that. So there is a couple of variables. I show what are their contribution to the final score of the index. And so I make I make some comments sometime when there are things to notice. And so you can check it out every Monday and see the evolution. And so in 2 words, I had this idea because I didn't saw a lot of influencers talking about EOS from a technical analysis standpoint. I believe myself, I personally believe in technical analysis. I know some people don't, but for the people that believe in it, I think that could be a great, have an overall indexes instead of checking all of those metrics like I did before every time to know if it is a good time to buy EOS or something. What's the state of EOS in the market? So yeah, I don't know. It could be a contribution. You tell me after that. So, and I do that every week since February. So yeah, that's my contribution. Thank you. Thank you, Patrick, for the. You can go, Patrick. I pass on to you now.
Patrick said you want to go last, I think.
Oh yeah, sorry, Patrick. Sorry if you want to go last. Jorge, you're next on my screen.
Okay.
You want?
Okay. Go, Jorge. Yeah. Welcome.
Hey, Patrick. So Nicolas Davoine is a French.
Yeah.
Original name. You're
yes.
a French speaker, right?
It's the princess eye of the French eye of EOSBs. The princess.
Not the prince, the princess.
Not the prince, the princess. The beast is always feminine. So it's the princess.
Jessie is the queen. Jessie is the queen.
Jessie is the queen, the drag queen. Okay.
Let's I'll share my screen too.
Wow.
You should be able to share it.
Yes. Okay, so as you guys know, I've been working in the Spanish-speaking Fractal. We had our meeting last night, our 4th meeting. There it is, the proof of the meeting. Can you guys hear?
Yes, it's low, but we can hear it.
Can you guys hear the video?
Yeah, we see the video. Yeah.
Okay, there is the proof of the meeting. It took us about 2 hours to do the whole thing. One thing I've noticed, by the way, about all these Fractal meetings, Spanish and English, is that they have a very high rate of recurrence. People that come once usually tend to become engaged, which is I think the rate of engagement is about 50%, which is way higher than other big volunteering initiatives, such as Linux, for example. So there is the proof of the Spanish-speaking Fractal meeting. I also participated in the Genesis Fractal meeting. Let's see if I have it around here. Yes, this is the Genesis Fractal meeting, which takes place on Saturday. I made it to the 2nd round, and I'm part of the Eden Fractal team there. So we brought some respect to this community. There is the proof of my participation. I'm right there in the top left corner. Okay. I also created this post regarding the consensus, the interim consensus process. I've been trying to highlight the importance of taking into account not only level nor respect accumulated in order to be part of the council, but also level of attendance, because a physicist and data scientist from the Genesis ƒractal team did a pretty sophisticated post in which he did a statistical analysis about the data from the first 20 meetings of the Genesis ƒractal. And one of the charts showed very clearly that the judgment of people is more trustworthy in the sense that it aligns better with the community, not for the case when they are the highest contributors, but for the case when they are the most frequent attendants. So I've been advocating that we take into considerations level of attendance aside from total achieved respect. So in this post that I created, I proposed this formula, which gives to every member a decision power on the community, which is the product of the average level from the last n meetings, and being any number that we choose. For example, the average level from the last 10 meetings times the natural logarithm of the number of meetings attended. This formula has the advantage of converging to the same results for all the people that has attended several meetings, but also protects the community from people that comes only a few meetings and achieves a lot of respect. Well, I mean, high contributors, but that come not so frequently. That on that side, I'll stop sharing this screen and I'll share another one. I'm also starting. I've been mentioning about my interest in simulating this system. So I already created this class diagram, which is trying to schematize the whole ƒractal protocol. So we have, for example, here a ƒractal which has meeting, and every meeting has consensus room, and every consensus room, and pretty much all of them involve members. So this is a class diagram for those who are familiarized with object-oriented programming. This is the first step to modeling the whole ecosystem, and I'm using this to first try to do the accounting of the respeto ganado, the respect earned in the Spanish speaking ƒractal. But this tool can serve us to model pretty much anything. This is the first step. Then I'll start this week to implement it in Python. And I think that's it for me for now. So thank you very much for listening. And I'll give the turn to Mr. Jeff Jenny.
Thank you, Evgeny. My name is Evgeny.
Evgeny.
I'm at the last our meeting. I told you I made an article for one of the biggest crypto community in the Russian language, and but at those moment they did not publish it, and finally they did, and I just wanted to show on moment. I will post in our chat just a link with sorry for delay. Sorry, I can't post a picture, but I wanted to post a screenshot with encrypted Russian-speaking community with 100,000 users, and the post about EOS FAQ of EOS frequently asked questions. I mean, with EOS antelope upgrade. So if as I can see on the my picture, this post read 12,000 people. So I think it's good for EOS because there are too few people, a very little information in Russian crypto community about EOS. And I take a part in one of another Russian-speaking community, but there was on the channel 6,000 readers, and in their Telegram chat where we make audio call and talking about DAO and about different blockchain, Polkadot, Solana, and I told about EOS and ƒractal, about DAO in EOS, and I made some translation about DeFi-box in my Telegram news channel, and some translation for EOS support. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I think now it's Patrick.
Shans hasn't gone yet too.
Well, I don't know what I just joined, so I don't have much contribution with Eden. But a bit about myself is that I've been in crypto for quite some time. It's before crypto, I was with eGold, something called eGold, which was like the first currency pegged to gold. I guess Satoshi mentioned that when it fell apart, that's why he made it the motivation to be decentralized. At the moment, I'm contributing in Bankless, Aragon. My deep interest is how can DAOs help the traditional organizations? Because I believe that network organization is the next level, because hierarchical, the managers don't have that much bandwidth for amount of information and value being transferred across the organizations. So I am more of in the research mode of how can DAOs help the traditional organizations. And I've been putting proposals across different DAOs. And the reason I joined Eden and EOS is that one of the colleagues, his name is Rhett. I met him. We've been knowing each other for quite some time. He basically told about Eden, and I read about Dan Larimer's involvement, and that enabled me to, because he was one of the pioneers in terms of DAOs, and that enabled me to join your organization.
Jorge, you muted.
Hey, Chant, I'd love to see your face, to see that you're still a real human being.
Yeah, I'm outside. Sorry for that. I'm just in the office. I have to go outside, so that's why I disabled the in our office the cameras are disabled. So yeah, sorry for that.
It is a requirement for these breakout rooms to be on camera.
Okay. Because I don't have the camera enabled in my desktop. That's why.
All right.
I guess next time I'll use it. I'll use my cell phone or something.
Yeah, I think at this point we don't have a formal governance process, and we never said it's a firm requirement. So I think it's okay that Trends isn't on video right now, but it's definitely encouraged. And I think that at some point soon, with the consensus process, that we should make it a requirement. But for now, I think it's cool, and I appreciate you sharing your story and work with us, Shans. And then yeah, I'd be interested too if you have any links to your work, like social media profiles or places. I've also been following like Bankless DAO and Aragon, so I'd be interested to see if you have any links to your work that you'd like to share with us at any point too. That'd be cool.
Okay.
I suppose Patrick can go now, or
Yeah, I can go. So I have prepared a list for this time. I hope that's work into the discussion chat. I will try to post that. Moment. Okay. Okay, that's work. That doesn't work. Okay, so I will copy paste by step by step. So I will paste that first. Okay, so that's my first copy paste. So it's about development. So I am continuing to develop very hard the MindWeb Pomelo grant that I have for season 3 and ongoing season. It's not only about just one season. I am since season 1, so it's my 3rd season. So what I am developing currently, it's the cockpit for EOSB's Swarm by Jesse Jaffe. I have received the data from Nicolas here about the data of each campaign that we have on EOSB Swarms, and I am creating a cockpit. So that the cockpit is a mind map plus data analytic views together, and that is what is named the cockpit. And MindWeb translation module, it's about to have all the mind map in 12 languages, and I use for that the Translate Me network API by Translate Me, and I am in collaboration with EOS Translation Foundation and another ƒractal with Mark Scheer. And I have also posted here the hidden ƒractal mind map that I have created for hidden ƒractal since the beginning with Dancing Joy and Felix Ruiz. You go there, it's an HTML page with a mind map, totally interactive, and you have all the links about hidden ƒractal. And if you have to post something, you use the second link web form to publish something into the mind map, and I update the mind map for you, and you have always an hidden ƒractal mind map up to date. Now I post the second contribution that I have made. It's about marketing. So on the marketing side, I am creating a marketing deck for Nova Crypto to go to the level 2. Because Nova Crypto currently, it's a YouTube channel, it's a Twitter channel with 1,600 and soon 2,000 subscribers on Twitter. I have a TikTok channel that I will reactivate, where I have posted already some links since 2018, and I have a SoundCloud where I have created different jingles. The last one is the Power Lion MP3. I have passed 6 hours of work this Tuesday to create this jingle, because I am also doing keyboard and using software to create music. So that's my last composition is this Power Lion MP3. And now I post for you other things. And you can all copy paste that into your notepad. That would be a useful link, I think. I have posted recently about EOSB Swarm. What is a swarm? That's not from me, that's from Jesse Jaffe. So I have just copy paste the text. What is an EOSB Swarms? Sorry for the correct grammatic errors or orthograph. And it is where you can order a new swarm. You have a chatbot by Kevin Duncan, aka Chevs.
Chevs.
Yeah. And I have ordered my last swarm of 72 hours. That was the longest EOSB swarm on EOSBs. And that's led me to other things. After the last hidden ƒractal on last Wednesday, where I stated that we have to promote hidden ƒractal, what I did, I go on EOS Fireside Chat and I open my mouth and I give 3 shout out in EOS Fireside Chat. You have the timestamp into the YouTube video of EOS Fireside Chat, and you have the shout out for the hidden fractal. What it is cool to have hidden fractal. That's help hidden on EOS, that's help EOS, and that's help fractally. We are into the middle. We are into the between different worlds. So hidden fractal. Then I have also something else to share with you guys. It's about educational AI vocal. So that's MP3, and here it's the DAC MP3. It's what is a DAC in English, and it's what is a DAC in Spanish. So you have what is a DAC by Daniel Larimer, decentralized autonomous corporation or currency or communities. The C can mean many things. DAC is a subset of a DAO. So DAO, it's too much, make me think too much about Ethereum, the crash with the DAO in 2016, and that led to come to the Ethereum Classic. There was an hard fork on the Ethereum blockchain. In EOS, there will never an hard fork. We have a consensus upgrade. So here it's about DAC. You can hear that. And I will mention also bweb.io, BBS, Bulletin Board System, and who has created that? It's the team of Eyal Herzog, the co-founder of the Bancor network. And you have the video on YouTube that I have interviewed with Eyal last year about bweb.io, and is in contact with Liquid Apps, the DApp network by Benny Akak and Tal Muscal. They use the technology of the Liquid Apps network, for example, liquid storage. So bweb.io, it's BBS. And to finalize my thing, that's the last part. September 23rd, I am preparing now. It's very near the door. I am creating the workshop UFI number 12. That's every month. That's on the 23rd, every time on the 23rd. That's the 12th one with Maurice Vanegas. I am preparing the workshop with him. And there we speak about human-generated finance. That's very close to hidden fractal. That's very close to fractally. They use the fractal paradigm since day one, and they use the EOS mainnet as a settlement layer. And EOS.io Swiss workshop I am preparing, it's for October 23rd. I have put the agenda of the last workshop. It's the October 23rd on December 9. So there is a tweet to announce what I say. I do always what I say. So there are the rest of the year, 2 workshops coming. It's October 23rd and December 9. And the October 23rd is named Web 3.0 Full Spectrum on EOS. That's the title of the workshop. And I have already confirmed Albedo update number 2 of Tadas Veitikunas, co-host with Dan Sinjoy. And I have also confirmed the Hidden Fractal update 2, this time with Felix and Dan together, interviewed by myself, Nova Crypto. And that will be oriented startup with metrics, not just an hidden fractal to say, we are a good hidden fractal, we are lovely people. Yeah, that's true, but we need some metrics to show. And now after, what is the beginning of this hidden fractal, Dan Sinjoy? What was the beginning?
Beginning of June, you mean? It's been about 3 months now.
Voilà, so already 3 months. So that's perfect. On October 23rd, we will have some metrics to share. And finally, I take that for the end because for me, that's not the most important, but it's also important. The funds that I have sent to Hidden Fractal, hidden.fractal smart contract account with an MSIG, I have give 2,200 EOS. Those 2,200 EOS have to stay for the distribution rewards. That's for this reason we have an MSIG. That's a good thing. And then I have give 450 EOS for Albedo to Tadas, and you have the link on Twitter. And my contribution will not only for Tadas, I will also send for Matthias Schoenbeck, ZEOS, and I will send also probably for Jorge Ramos, because he do a fantastic job also. So I will give funds for developers, architects also, architects, developer. into this hidden fractal. So that's all for me. And I work for EOS per week about, the minimum that I work per week for EOS is about 40 hours. The maximum that I have worked for EOS is 60 hours. So thank you.
Cool. Thank you, Patrick. There's lots I'd like to discuss. I'm sure everybody would like to discuss, although we do only have like 6 or 7 minutes to reach consensus. So I suppose we should just prioritize that. And then after we reach consensus, the people can ask questions afterwards. How's that sound?
Okay, where are we allowing or not allowing self-ranking? I'm against self-ranking.
Chance is no more here. Chance has left.
Yeah, I'd say we allow it.
Strange. I don't love when you don't see the guy. That's...
Yeah, he messaged. He said he had to go, and he'll be there at the fireside chat.
Okay, okay. I trust him. I trust him. Okay,
yeah.
Because I have already seen him, so I trust him. This is not a bot for sure. I am a bot.
So if you guys are against self-ranking, please raise your hand. If you are pro self-ranking, please don't raise your hand.
I am against since to self-voting. I am against.
Okay. It seems there is consensus, so we are doing self-ranking today.
Okay. Okay. Is everybody ready for to submit the name of who it should be level 6 in your opinion?
Yeah.
Can I one more time? 6th level is the highest contribution.
Oh, sorry, I have put something wrong. Sorry.
Yeah, 6 is the best. Yeah.
6 is the best. 1 is the worst.
I wouldn't say worst. I would, but I would say 6 is the highest.
It's subjective. It's subjective. Yes. Don't be upset. Never be upset.
Exactly.
Okay. So
yep.
You are ready to post?
I'm ready. Is everybody ready?
Okay. 3, 2, 1, 0.
Okay. Patrick.
Okay. Yep. Looks like Patrick has consensus.
Also, thank you very much.
Can you put your EOS account when you are elected? Like
I have in parentheses, but I can put again.
Oh yeah.
That's why I say to the people to put into parentheses, because that helps when you have to do the. Okay, so I put into the chat. That's nice.
Thank you.
And now level 5.
Okay.
Are you ready for level 5?
I'm ready.
Okay, so 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hey,
Sorry.
Okay, there is consensus. Okay.
Yeah, there is no matter.
Sorry if we went too fast and you weren't ready. I didn't realize that.
Okay, you have not.
I haven't voted, but there is consensus already.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, that's right, Dan. Your EOS account is just Dan. I just realized again.
It's easy. The EOS account of Dan is Dan.
Yeah, that's
so, but he's not Dan the man. Huh?
That's the
bigger Dogman, the best
Dan the Dogman.
The Dogman.
Okay.
Respect for the dog. Okay, so level 4.
Much respect. Okay. Is everybody ready for level 4?
Yeah.
1.
I have a question first.
Oh no.
We don't have time. Okay, let's proceed. Let's proceed.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Ah, interesting.
Did somebody not vote yet?
2-time Nicolas.
Okay.
3-time Jorge.
So Jorge's 3 out of 5, so that's not enough for consensus right now.
Jorge, you have a vote for yourself?
Yeah, because we agreed to vote for ourselves at the beginning.
Ah bon? Okay.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Are you agreeing with this? Do you want to change your, maybe your, for Nicolas? Difficult. Okay.
I can't change my vote because I voted for Jorge. So if I change, it's going to be for me. So it relies on you guys. Like
it's depends if you, Nicolas, you believe that you deserve more.
No, I don't think so. I personally believe Jorge deserves it. So this is why I won't change.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm happy to go between just to vote for Jorge then. I thought that both of you guys are doing awesome, so I wasn't sure who to vote for, but sounds good.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so level 3, level 3. Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
So 3, 2, 1, 0.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. And Yevgeny, level 2, with all the respect, for sure.
Thank you.
Yes.
And
very much so.
Chance level 1. Or,
Yeah. Although I don't know if we have Chan's his EOS account though.
he has not
Do we?
EOS account, Chance?
Well, I'm sure he probably does, but I don't think he left it. And I tried to see if I could reach out to him on Twitter.
Bon, okay.
But then
so we are
says that
room
message enabled.
number 2, correct?
Um,
Number 2. Number 2.
yes, we are room number 2. Yep.
Okay, so I post the names, the EOS account name. So first is me. Second
yep.
is Dan. Dan is very easy. Then is level 4 is Jorge is immortal, and 4 times 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have Nico Balad 11.
I just wrote the consensus. Please check
And we
spelling,
have
guys.
Crypto Zenek.
Sorry, sorry for I forget to.
Crypto.
I just posted, guys. Please check the spelling is right.
Yeah, I write now my
I think it looks good. I'll also
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
we're at time, so I'll hit
that's my name.
close rooms, and then we'll have 60 seconds remaining.
So Dan, okay, Immortal 444, that's the same. Nico Balad 11, that's the same. Okay. So we have just to put into the tool of Vlad, and I have forget the link. Have you the link?
Yeah, it's somewhere up in the chat.
Ah, okay.
Sure,
I can put it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So thank you guys, and all the respect to you.
So do we wait for
Thanks
the
for the great meeting.
do we wait for the yes account of Chance?
I don't think we do.
Chance will be level 1, and level 1. But if he has no EOS account, we cannot put the level 1.
Yeah, if anybody knows how to get in contact with Shans and they can ask him what his EOS account is, then that would be cool. But otherwise, I don't know how to get in touch with him or find his EOS account.
So we can submit.
When I go into the tool, I go to the level 2 until the level 2. That's okay. When you put into the tool, we put until the level 2.
Actually, how about we put?
Hey again, everyone.
Hey Charles, hey everybody. Hope you all had a great time.
Yeah, great meeting.
This was interesting.
Yes,
I think this is a good experience, which is I feel a little bit bad because I ended up extending the discussion, which I think was important discussion, but we ran out of time, so we weren't able to come to a consensus, which is like the downside of like discussion. So anyway, so I thought that was fascinating. It's the first time we didn't make time, I guess.
It's a learning experience for next time. Everyone benefits from it in the room.
Yeah.
Well,
you said you didn't reach consensus. Oh, sorry, Vlad.
Yeah, there is still 1 hour to submit it through the app. So, I mean, if there still might be consensus.
Yeah, I would say if you guys want to go back into breakout room and reach consensus, then you can. Just so everybody can get the EOS and respect and stuff. Because
I would suggest we should stick to the rules. Oh, sorry, I don't even have my video on. If I'm smiling or grinning, no, we should stick to the rules. And then we went down to level. We were next on level 3 actually. So I mean, let's do it in the app, and then we'll see if we came to consensus or not. Let's not go back and discuss further. We have a time limit and similar. So,
well, I don't care. I don't care about the EOS.
Yeah, but
I don't care. I don't care about my rank.
I think that's
at this point, I don't really care.
That's understandable, Chris. I do think just following the process, though, for the sake of everybody, whether or not they care or not, I think it was a good experience. But we should figure out what the process, proper process is, and just follow through with it. So, if people agree that this, are we supposed to have it by that certain time, then we should just stick to those rules. If not, if so that's
what I was talking about in the room. We still gotta figure that out.
Yeah, I would say, I see Felix trying to talk, but you're muted, Felix.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think like we don't have anything set in stone on that, and my opinion on it is I think we're just trying to encourage people to come here. So because you spent time here, I think as long as you guys can reach consensus, I don't. It doesn't matter if it's even if it doesn't get posted on chain, as long as it can be communicated to the group, and obviously on chain helps, right? Because that helps for when people go back and let's say people want to reflect back on the history of this, they can look it up. But right now we got to be flexible. So I'm not a huge advocate on making something like set in stone, making it hard right now when we're still trying to learn things.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there was another time a couple weeks ago that we went up going a couple minutes longer. And at this point in the early stage, I would prefer that everybody reach consensus and gets the EOS and respect and is feeling good about it. In the future, we can make it so that there's a hard stop. But right now, the hard stop is technically 56 minutes from now when the consensus needs to be submitted on chain. So I would say that I would encourage you guys to reach consensus. And I think that's probably best. Yeah, and another thing too is we've kind of been doing these more like 40 minutes rather than 45 minutes, whereas Fractal is 45 minutes, but that's just time constraints. So if we could do a bit longer, we could, then we would, I think. But yeah, I agree with Felix.
Can you put group 1 back together?
Sure. Is it that's I guess I'll just hit open all rooms and then just only group 1 will join again, I think is the way to do it, I think.
I think, okay, great. Yeah. Thanks. I think the flexibility is great. I was going to ask if anyone had objections, but I guess it's okay for now.
Yeah, I think everybody's cool with it.
Dan, how do I join group 1?
Do you for some reason you're not there right now?
I'm the one that asked for it, and I'm not even moving into the room.
Okay, yeah, for some reason I think because maybe you guys left or something, but I'm assigning you guys there, so now you should be able to join, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, and Patrick, you have your hands up too. The one thing I want to say about Chance too, but you go first, Patrick.
Oh no, Dan, go first.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so during our group, Shans was here, and Shans, he seems to be doing some awesome work in the Ethereum DAO space and stuff, and then he had to leave halfway through. He didn't share his EOS account. I think maybe what's best is we just put Eden MSig 111 as level 1, and then we try to get in contact with him and see if he has an EOS account, and then if not, then it's okay. We can just do the top 5. I don't think it.
Makes sense.
I just made my consensus and I left the last spot empty.
Okay.
I too.
Yeah, I think that's fine because there's the manual part. I guess if probably Felix would be going through this, I'll just try. And I know Felix wants to get it out fast, so maybe we just won't include Shans, but I'll see if I can reach out to him on Telegram and see if I can get an EOS account from him. And then if we're able to include him, that'd be cool. But I suppose not that big of a deal either way. Does that make sense? Or
yeah, I would just I guess let me know. I mean, yeah, that ideally we want to get it as soon as possible, but also it's about the experience. So for me, if you showed up, we want you to show up again. So, we'll give you, hopefully enough time. Like, yeah, I mean, hopefully he can respond soon, but if not, we'll give him we'll give him a day or so.
Okay, cool. Yeah, sounds good. I agree. And I'll try to find him now. And welcome, Bjorn, new legend. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, welcome. Welcome, Jaya. Oh,
can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah, your audio is pretty broken up right now, but I heard a little bit. Yeah, I would also encourage everybody to post a consensus if you haven't already. And yeah, I don't know if you're trying to say anything else, Sean. And then also Patrick and Nicholas have their hands up for a while now too.
Okay, thank you, Dan, and thank you all. I just want to give you some reflection or thought that I have since last Wednesday, 31 August, just after the 31 August. I was into the EOS Fireside chat and I tried to promote to my best hidden fractal. Maybe that was a like opportunist. I have shared three links on the video YouTube of EOS Fireside chat where I stated, advocated about hidden fractal without to go too much into the detail because I would like Dancing Joy go soon and explain more, and Felix also about for example, to join better the ENF. For that, we have a planned update number 2 with Felix and Dan, a video that I will do an interview, like a business startup video with some metrics, because that will be the 4th month that we have a hidden fractal on October 23rd. So that will be perfect for the EOS-IO Swiss workshop. So I was thinking about that just after the 31. And then all what I have stated last week, I said that the breakout room is a joke part, or let's say that was not disrespectful. I will just to maintain in another way what I think. It's not the most important part, the breakout room. That's why I said it's a kind of a joke, but the most important is the collaboration. For me, always, it's to collaborate and try to find people into this hidden fractal with who you want to collaborate. And also about the contribution, I decided to keep the 2,200 EOS into the hidden fractal smart contract account with the MSIG in order to distribute the contribution, the rewards when you respect, when you go into this hidden fractal. So don't touch, I wouldn't I wouldn't take 1,000 EOS from this 2,200 EOS and send that, for example, to Vlad, Jorge, and Tadas. I have decided to send directly to their EOS account. So the first one that I have sent 450 EOS, it's to Tadas as an architect developer of Albedo, a blockchain overlay protocol that could help hidden fractal, that could help hidden on EOS, that could help underlying blockchain level 1 blockchain like EOS, and that's very fractal paradigm. The next one that I want to send some EOS, it's for Jorge Ramos, for all the work that he's doing. That's just amazing. I want also to contribute. And the third one that I want to contribute, it's Matthias Schoenbeck for ZEOS. That's very important that we have some privacy at some point. And for Vlad, I love Vlad for sure. I will give him later on, but my intention is to support financially as I can, but not only financially, also to understand what does it mean. What do those people like Jorge? I read a lot your document. I haven't understand nothing. I have to read again. And Tadas, I have read the white paper and all what you have written. That sounds already better, but I have to read always in iteration. It's not just in one pass. So I encourage everyone to pay attention to what are doing Tadas, Jorge, and they are behind closed door and they are doing a lot of job. So for this reason, it's more important to pay attention to what are doing the people, not only what you are doing. Yeah, that's all what I want to say for the moment. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Patrick.
Nicholas, I see you got your hand raised.
Yeah, thank you guys. I just wanted to come back to what I said in the breakout room with Dan, Jorge, Patrick. So I mentioned a new contribution that could be a contribution, which is the fact that since February, I'm like working on the Twitter account, which publish every week 2 indexes about like the EOS price. So I'm doing technical analysis. So this is the first time I mentioned it. And the reason why is because I found on YouTube your shorts, Felix, about EOS, and I found it really cool. And I wanted to debate with you if in that regards about the whole technical analysis matter, because this is a really delicate matter, I believe. And also if I'd put the link in the chat for you guys to check how it looks like and what you think, and if it could be indeed a contribution, and give you also your feedback about everything, because I know this is a very delicate matter. This is why I didn't brought up before. And yeah, give me everything all of your feedback. Like, I'm open to everything. Thank you.
Sorry that I go up before Rory. I just want to shout out Nicolas Dawan for the EOSB's French. You do a fantastic job. And if you have to do an EOSB swarms, that's the guy to contact when you want to do an EOSB swarm and you are lost. Go to Nicolas, because he's very helpful. So thank you for all the work that you are doing.
Thank you, Patrick. You can just go on the EOSB's Twitter account and contact us from here. I will put the link. I put it in the chat. So yeah.
I'll also add before it goes to and Nicholas, you sent me a link privately. I think you meant to send it publicly, but yeah, I just shared the link that for the EOS index that Nicholas was referring to a moment ago. And yeah, I think that's what that's what the beauty. Yeah, shared again.
Okay, I just put the link now. You can all check the link. Sorry, I put it in private to Dan, so you can all check your feedback.
Yeah. Is this your account, Nicholas?
So yeah, I'm handling it. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that the other day and I followed it. And I was like, I like that. So yeah, I'll follow up with you as well, because
thank you.
Yeah, making videos on that will help too.
Yeah, so to give you a little bit of context, it's just because I realized that when I started to get interested about EOS last year, I figured like, why not? There's no influencers talking about EOS, like even French, even like American. So I didn't find any guidance about the price and whatever. And so this February, I thought like, maybe I could do that. That could be a great idea. So that because I made a lot of mistakes and I can like maybe have the experience. So I changed a lot of things, obviously, about the index. If you go back in time and see there are a lot of there's a difference between when I started the EOS price index and now. And so yeah, give me your feedback and give me if it could be a contribution, something like that. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I guess it's my turn. I do want to say that technical analysis is valuable, not because the charts and these lines and indicators magically reflect the consciousness of the people, but because they become a self-fulfilling prophecy. People tend to sell, and the technical indicators say so, and they do it massively. So I do believe that this can be a really great contribution, and if it can serve for the profit of the community, then it's an even bigger contribution. I'm checking the link, and I'll hopefully give you a better feedback soon.
Yeah, obviously like, you need to check the link, because I try to be unbiased as possible, obviously, because this is the whole point, even though I'm here, but I try to be unbiased as possible from the objective point of view. This is why I try to be transparent. I publish all the variable that contributes to the index himself, so then people can see. So yeah, thank you, Jorge.
And I also wanted to thank Patrick for his kind words and his beautiful personality and everything else. He's one of the most valuable members of this community.
So I am a bastard sometimes, so I am not a good personality. So don't say that, please.
Please shut up.
Because tomorrow I could be tomorrow I could be a bad person. Because like said Tadas, you can be good at a moment and you can be bad at another moment, or the inverse is also true. So it's depend of your people with who you are. I am with good people, so I am better. But if I will be with bad people, I could be very harsh. So, and a bad lion. So I prefer to stay a power lion with wisdom. And that's what I try to be every day. But we improve every day. So thank you for the good word, but seems to be that I am also a bastard sometimes. And you have people into this room that can advocate for that I am a bastard sometimes.
All right. So that's it for me now.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you, Jorge. And yeah, I agree. Patrick is doing awesome work. I suppose we can all be bastards in Patrick's words sometimes, but well, Patrick, you spend a lot of time with good people in this community, and so we see a lot of really awesome stuff. And I greatly respect you, and I think that many other people in the community do too. So thank you. I'd also like to say two other quick things. First, responding to Nicholas. Yeah, I've never really gotten into technical analysis, and it seems kind of woo-woo to me. So I've never looked at it too much. But like one, I noticed that you have over 500 followers there, so that's good, raising the awareness for EOS. And there's also potential that I'm missing out. I just haven't had time to explore it very much, and I think that's the beauty of the process. Like it's subjective. So each time you can show it in the meetings, I would encourage you to show it in the meetings, because a lot of people value it greatly. And then people, if they value it a lot, then they value it a lot. And if they don't, then they can, take that into account or whatever. But I think it's a good contribution overall for sure, even though I'm not super into it. And then, yeah, so thank you for sharing that. And then also, I just want to check in with the group 2 or whichever group just joined again, with Wax and Vlad and Elias and Chris and June and Lenny. Did you guys all manage to reach consensus, and did it all go well?
Oh yeah, no problems. We had some glitches in the end, technical, but user glitch, so all good.
Okay, cool. Great to hear. Yeah, we had some interesting luck where I think all 30 new people were all in the same room. So I imagine that added a bit of complexity and extra time and so forth. But yeah, I'd encourage you all to vote in the voting app if you haven't already. If you have any questions about how to access or how to use that, then please let us know. And yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts from everybody in that room about how you thought the room went. And Felix has his hands up too. But yeah, I would love at some point to hear from all you guys, especially the new people, and to hear what you thought about the process and the experience and so forth.
Just before Felix, sorry, I have just posted into the chat, into the discussion from you, Dogman. That was something we discussed yesterday, but I was thinking I will not make how did you say that, something bad by sharing that, because that could concern everyone. So by the way, if you want to send more to developer or specific people in the future, then I think it would be better to send EOS directly to them from your account instead of via the eden.ƒractal account. This will make it simpler for everyone and reduce liability for Eden Fractal. Like the Fractally team wrote in the article below, it's generally better to avoid sending EOS to an MSIG account to help protect the community from being classified as a general partnership. In the future, I think the only EOS that we should send to the Eden Fractal account is the EOS needed to distribute participation rewards, parenthesis, and we should also phase this out in the coming year to further reduce the liability. And there is a link to the Daniel Larimer, what is the actual state of DAO. And that was, let me think that my 2,200 EOS, I have to keep that into the pot for Eden Fractal for the reward distribution. And if I want to contribute to an architect and a developer, I send directly EOS. Or I could have also create an MSIG to extract 1,000 EOS from my 2,200 EOS, but I was thinking that would be too much complicated. I discussed that with Dancing Joy, Dogman, here, the only dog, the best one. So, and this is something that can be interesting for everyone to know that, not only for me. So for this reason, you have a good explanation by Dogman, the only one. Okay, so now Felix.
Thank you very much, Patrick.
Yeah, thanks, Patrick. Yeah, so on that, I don't know what you're wanting. I guess we need to figure out how you're wanting to do the EOS that you sent for the specific reasons, because Yeah, I would like to know too how much headway we have in the Eden Fractal account. That's gonna, because like right now we have 1,400. So if we continued the 100, that would get us for 14 weeks. But if we're reducing that because we're sending directly to, we'll have to propose an MSIG for that on, and the Eden Fractal will have to sign it, which I don't think that would be an issue. That shouldn't be too hard to do, but
now you have 2,200 EOS into the pot of Eden Fractal to the distribution reward by Nova Crypto. 2,200 EOS. The 450 EOS, it's for TADAS. It's only for TADAS. It's not for the Eden Fractal smart contract account that has an MSIG. This
I only see
2,200.
1,400 EOS in the Eden.fractal account.
That's because we've used the first 800, I believe, over the past 8 weeks.
Oh, okay. You're talking in total.
Oh, sorry. The
That's what I'm
time
saying.
goes
Like
fast. The time goes fast.
of the 1,400 though, how much is reserved for 100 a week? Because I do think if we can keep that, at least that's like our baseline, right? I mean, if EOS explodes in price and maybe we adjust it from
Don't
100
worry,
or whatever,
I will
but,
send again. I will send again to the Eden Fractal smart contract account like this. We have a.
but and that's a I appreciate that, Patrick. Also, though, too, this is open to everyone as well. Like I have Eden Delegate funds, and I'm like that was my intent, is to have that funded. But like now, because I don't know how long we have, like if we have 14 weeks, then I can use those funds for like NFTs or in other ways though too. But also all delegates, like just feel free to, like that can be something that I do think, like, yes, we got to be careful with like, you know, like, okay, someone's giving money, like they don't, like, you know, that is respectful, right? So you earn respect for doing that, but that's not the only key thing, right? So we're like, if some well comes in and like gives us a ton, it's awesome, but doesn't mean that we're like to like, you know, they don't rule us in that sense. And so like, I don't know, I guess that's just something to kind of put out there too, is like the more openness, like we have several delegates here too as well. So that's just ideas as well. I know if everyone has their own plans, but
not everyone has to give something on the monetary sense, because value is a spectrum. If you want to contribute, value is many things, but one of the value is the monetary sense. So I decided to contribute, but I have no obligation to give something. But I was thinking, okay, I give. And I was also analyzing with my lawyer in Switzerland, with my Nova Crypto LLC, if it is a problem that I give some funds into this Eden Fractal smart contract account or to a NEOS account. When you give not more than 15,000 per year, it's not
per
really
person. Is that per person as well?
It's not a problem. We speak of nothing here. And I don't want that the government impeach us to give some financial contribution with EOS. We speak of EOS. We don't speak of fiat money here. So I am totally aligned with Felix when you said sometimes that you are very aligned with the government and you want to have the ability to send some EOS to the people between us. They are doing that in Nigeria with the U5 movement, with Maurice Vanegas. They are letting circulate money by letting circulate EOS, liquidity dense, liquidity velocity. So that's good to let circulate more EOS between us. Don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid of that. But you are not in the obligation to participate with money, with EOS into this Eden Fractal. More important, the collaboration and all that between the people.
Right.
Real quick, Nicholas, I sent you a private message.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna lower my hand. My main reason for raising the hand was to address Nicholas's point. But yeah, I'll just get in touch with you. But mainly though, for group one who wasn't here, Nicholas he started doing technical analysis, and he's like basically asking if that's a contribution. Obviously it's all dependent on us. I definitely see it as a contribution though too. So it's cool because like we have a lot of, that's how you bring a lot of crypto people aren't in the EOS ecosystem, at least appeal to them, right? Because people are looking at trading, and I mean, the charts are lining up to look nice, but obviously we don't want to be selling either. So, but it's nice to have charts out there. And it's like, hey, look, these charts look like this, but I don't know. Anyways, my hand's going down. So
Yeah, I just put the link for the one that wasn't there when we talked about. I put the link. All of you can check and give your feedback about what you think and what Felix just said. If you think this is a great contribution, how it could be improved or stuff like that. Because obviously, I don't take credit for that. I just until then, no one knew that I was behind that, and like the rest, I don't want to say that's me. I don't really care. It's just that I like doing that. I find it really interesting, and especially about the EOS token, because it's really a particular token, and I feel like, yeah, this is exactly what Felix said. I think it provides guidance to some people that believes in technical analysis to some degree, and so yeah, I agree with you, Felix, 100%. And if you want, we could talk about in private about if you want to make shorts about TA, maybe you can I can help you or you can help me. We can do something great. Yeah. And yeah, Jorge, just saw your message. I'm gonna answer you right away.
A new collaboration is born. You see? Okay, so.
One at a time with September 21st. Pretty much hard coded as Yves was talking to an interviewer who asked the question, so it's do or die, right? Said, yeah, pretty much. Well, since we got that, this is the most straightforward planning, financial planning that you'll see ever. And that is 21st. And then the other things that get implemented from Trust EVM to all the other working groups. And the financial plan could be just set through there, because once the 21st comes in, doesn't matter when the plan is, things are going to change. We expected a positive change. Same thing with Trust EVM and everything else. So as long as the 100 weekly EOS gets us through there, that's all we need. Because if it breaks, for it to break would have to be hard, as Patrick said, through October or else. Then it kind of really doesn't matter how much we have sitting and wait. So that would be it. I would just get as best guess as I could for the working groups implementing stuff, and just plan through there. And I think 14 weeks is more than enough for all that. So I don't think we have to worry about any financing, because by the time we do, it'll be there.
Thank you.
Yeah, which we can get clarity post discussion too. I'm just trying to figure out, because I know Patrick said that some of that's to go directly to our developers.
I think from what I understand, Patrick decided that the remaining 1,400 will be going for the distribution rewards, so 100 EOS per week. And then he decided to send the EOS separately to developers. We could do it however Patrick wants, but that's my understanding of what Patrick stated.
Sorry, I state again, I decided to give 450 EOS to Tadas for his contribution until now. Maybe I will give more later on. I will decide to give more, and I have sent directly to his EOS account. I have not used the hidden ƒractal MSIG where I have sent the 2,200 EOS, because those 2,200 EOS I discussed with Dansinjo yesterday. We have to be very transparent here. There are no secrets. I have discussed what is the best to do, and I decided with Dansinjo, we have discussed, I decided to keep the 2,200 EOS as reward distribution. And when I want to give some EOS to someone, I send directly to this EOS account, and he gives me this big text that I have put into the discussion chat with the article of Daniel Larimer that was stating himself, for liability reason, it's not good when you want to help someone to send to a MSIG smart contract account. It's better to send directly to his EOS account. So, and I don't say that I will give every week 450 EOS or 400 EOS. I will give when I want. So for example, the next on my list is Jorge Ramos. I will send him something, and then Matthias, and maybe then Vlad. I don't know. I do as I decide to do. But the 2,200 EOS is in order that the people coming here are rewarded in EOS, NFTs, hidden respect, and I am a contributor for this ƒractal. That's okay. I have no problem with that. And if someone else wants to do the same, he is welcome. And if no one wants to contribute to this hidden fractal, apart of myself and ENF, and yeah, the next one on the list would be ENF for sure. That makes sense. Daniel Larimer himself, I think we cannot expect something, to be honest, because we are the hidden fractal one. We are more oriented for help hidden on EOS, the EOS ecosystem. So that makes more sense to go to the ENF. So, but that I let Felix and Dan also to, or everyone to decide. We are a DAC. This hidden fractal is not just Felix, Dan, and that's all the people into this hidden fractal. We have to be a DAC. Something decentralized, autonomous community. So we have to. I don't know what you think, Dan. So I shut my mouth for a while. Okay, so.
Yep, that makes sense, Patrick. Thank you. Your contributions are greatly appreciated, and I understand your intentions now. And I think that helped clarify it too. And if anybody has any questions, then I suppose they can ask in the chat, or if you want to ask now, we can. But there's also some other topics that I think would be helpful to discuss too while we're all here. So yeah, once again, thank you so much, Patrick. And then also looking forward to discussing it more. But a couple of things I wanted to share. One, well, two things actually, perhaps like a bit of an outline or agenda that might be helpful for us to do. So several people in the chat have been talking about the proposal for the interim consensus process. Tadas shared a document earlier, and I think that's good to discuss. And also there's been lots of discussion. So I think that's good to go over. And then also I think it would probably be best before we get into the details of the proposal to, if anybody who was in that last room would like to share their experience, especially new people. But if anybody has any experience you'd like to share, that'd be cool. I saw Elias had to leave. It was his first time joining, but he shared a nice message in chat. He said, "I've got to jump off back to work, but love the experience. I can see how this process encourages work towards the priorities." And then put in parentheses, Eden Fractal, Eden, and EOS, ... So that's really cool. Thank you to Elias if you're watching this, and I hope to see him again at next week's meeting. Elias is awesome. Yeah, and I know, June, you were sharing a bit of your experience and it seemed like you enjoyed it, but you guys had some interesting things, and Wax also, I think, got the top level. Wax has been doing awesome work for EOS for a long time. So yeah, I'd be interested to hear how that second going back to the breakout room went, and just in general, if you guys have any thoughts to share with the experience, then that'd be cool, or anything we can do to improve, or I don't know, anything like that.
Yeah, no, thanks for allowing us to kind of get back in the room. I was going to mention before we got back into the room, you know, process is very important, and kind of rules are important as well. So I wanted to make sure there was a consensus and there was like a unanimous agreement on that. But, you know, hey, we just went ahead and went into the room, and it was fine. I think we needed that extra time to just go through the last rankings. And so that was great. And we used the tool. It took some time to get used to the tool and sign up and submit, but I think everyone did that. We were trying to get to, at the last second, we had all the rankings, but Eli kind of dropped off because of the internet, went back to the room. So we still, even at the end, had a little bit of some technical issues at the very end. But overall, I think it was good. I think we had good discussions in our first meeting about, you know, what are we ranking, like contributions to Eden Fractal, Eden, EOS, you know, so we were just kind of discussing that because, you know, I'm new and I didn't know what the mission was. And, you know, I know there's some flexibility, there's subjectivity, but generally there's usually a kind of a guideline of what to prioritize, I guess. Especially if you're new and, you know, you want to get that, I think. So we had a discussion on that in the beginning. And then I think the other issues was self-voting that came up. I think new people will always, you know, ask if self-voting is allowed. And I think both Vlad in favor of self-voting and Christian kind of pointing out like the negatives of self-voting. I think they were very valid points. So I think it's one of the things that are probably a common question early on that, you know, and we didn't necessarily have to come to consensus on that. I think we just left it open for people to self-vote if they believed that they wanted that, and not if they didn't believe that was kind of appropriate. Other than that, I think we just went down the rankings, and I think the discussion, maybe it was me, I was just I was just trying to clarify the process and make sure like we're all kind of on the same page, and just trying to make sure that, and that takes some time. That takes some time to gather everyone's input and try to make sure that there's no kind of strong objections of what we do. So process is important, and trying to encourage people to speak up if they're quiet and things like that. Moderation type, I guess, activities is important. So other than that, I don't know. There's Waxa, Vlad, or who else is there? Chris, Christian. Any other comments? Lenny?
Yeah, it was good fun. I enjoyed it. I think with there being 3 new people in the group, there was a few questions, so the discussions went on for a bit. And when you're filling in the form at the very end, I know June had an issue because you typed in room 1. So if there's a little help icon that could pop up on the top entry form that just says put in a number or a suggestion, little field that says number rather than room and 1. Apart from that, everything went really smoothly. It was good. I enjoyed it.
And the thing that I brought up, I guess, quite a bit was me personally not knowing what the hell is going on here. I think it's very important that we come up with a consensus process, or at least an interim one. I think that should be a priority right now. Instead of dragging this on, I've gone back and I reviewed the previous Eden Fractal meetings, town halls, and it's the same crap every week, just discussing what we're going to do, what is this thing, and nothing seems to be progressing. I think that needs to be a priority for everybody, is figure out what the hell we're doing here. Thank you.
That's fantastic, because that's exactly what I want to say now. To be honest, I am not a liar. I would say exactly the same. That's not good to repeat every week the same thing. We have to move on now with this interim consensus proposal, and we could make an improvement. That's not frozen in the stone. And I want to give a big shout out to June Dam, because you are very involved, and you were always involved into the constitution. I remember the early days when we have the calls with the consensus, the proposal on EOS, and then there was the EUA. You have participated a lot, and I think that's good to have you here in ƒractal for the, let's say, for the proposal voting. And yeah, and sure, Tadas, all the work that you are doing, that's nice, everyone. So shout out to June, and shout out to Chris Waxa from EOS team to be here also. That's nice. We are in good hands. That's fantastic. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Patrick. Yeah, I'll add to those comments. Yeah, I'm glad to have both Waxa and June here. I think, yeah, it's good that we're getting new faces, and then also like these post discussions too is really helpful. So a couple of things that thoughts to kind of point out. So to what Chris is saying, I agree. As far as like we need to be taking steps forward. So that's for me, when we're ranking contributions, my always thing when I open up is my direct contribution to the Eden Fractal this past week, and then I list those first. I think that's going to be a way that we should really start to judge and rank contributions of, like, yes, we're bringing value to EOS and Eden, but it's what really pushes the Eden Fractal first that need to be the highest contributions that are ranked, because I mean, if not, then this is not progressing. And ideally we want this to progress so that we can have bigger impacts on EOS and Eden. But we, obviously we still honor those contributions as well. But yeah, I think that this is an opportunity for anyone who wants to step up and take initiatives, just do it. And then you come and you say, this is my direct contribution. And then depending on, the feedback and result on how you get ranked that week, will determine if the, this community values that or not. But, for me, I'm very I'm very strong on holding support for people who are doing things that are pushing this forward first. And then, like I said, obviously Eden EOS is the large picture here, is to help that, but we have to be able to push this thing to a level to where we can have a more grand, bigger impact on both EAT and EOS. So, but yeah, so yeah, I'll let you go, Dan.
Cool. Sounds good. Thanks, Felix. And yeah, that's a good example. When people help eat Fractal, like a couple examples recently, Chris helped make NFTs, CAC, and then Gian made the spreadsheets, and then they both got level 6. So like if people want to help out, then that's greatly respected and appreciated. I want to get into the proposal, as I think many other people do. Just one other thing I wanted to say first was, I'm not sure if I asked, and I'm sorry that I always mispronounce your name. I'm trying to get better, but Yevgeny, just your experience. It's the second week that you've joined now, and I'm not sure if we asked you how you thought of it afterwards in the past meeting. So I was just curious if you had any thoughts about being pretty new to the group, if you had anything you'd like to share.
If I understand you right, you want to ask me what I'm thinking about these meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very interesting, and I am a little confused because I see how much you are doing, and I think maybe I don't should to take a part in the meetings like this, because in past week and this week I see how much also there was people doing for EOS, Eden, and Fractal, and I think I'm not make such a lot of work for EOS, and it's and I think if for example I'm inviting some people, interesting cat, Chris, if I invite some people just to take a part and look how it's working here, but people can't, but people who don't do anything for EOS, but they will get some respect tokens, and I think maybe this is not a good idea. And when we choose 6 levels, maybe we should have 7 levels for people who don't make any contributions. I don't know, is it a problem or not?
Well, thank you for your feedback. Much appreciated. So I think that everybody who's participating is making a contribution just by being here and helping support the community, especially if you're just sharing a good vibe and helping everybody enjoy their time and so forth. And then if people want to just come and they don't know anything about EOS or Eden, but they want to learn and just help contribute to a positive atmosphere, I think that's a contribution, and that's deserving of respect. If somebody doesn't do much, then level 1 or level 2 is something that like they'll probably get less respect, but they still get respect for being here, and that's good. And then yeah, what you're doing, Evgeny, is very helpful. I think. I mean, I've seen you posting around the community for a long time and doing work with EOS support. And then also, if you don't mind, I'll also share your contributions maybe in the chat. I was thinking maybe that'd be a good idea, because you were saying, I think, that you don't do so much for EOS something. I'm not sure if I misinterpreted you, but it seemed like you did a lot between writing articles and like sharing with the Russian community and so forth. So does that make sense?
Thank you. I will try more harder in future.
I would say,
Evgeny.
Sorry, I would say it's more important here to be nice than to be important.
That's also an interesting point. That's cool. So yeah, I just shared contributions from Evgeny that he shared this week. He posted that earlier. I just copy and pasted it. And then also Gian, I think, made a good comment too. I don't know if you want to say that, Gian, or should I say it? It's not. It's only in the chat, so I feel like it's helpful to get it on video so everybody can hear it in case they're watching the recording. I don't know if Gian tried to unmute, but I guess I'll just say, but he said being here is important. You'll see how you can contribute naturally. He came in 4 to 5 weeks without much contribution, and then he found a way he can contribute. And maybe next few weeks he'll come again with no contribution, but being here with lets you be more connected and gives way to more collaborations. So I agree. And that's another great contribution from Gian too. So thank you. Yeah, but I suppose, well, Nicholas has his hands up, and also we can get into the consensus process too at some point soon.
Yes, thank you, Dan. I just wanted to thank Vlad, Tadas, and you, Dan, for following the EOS Race Index Twitter account. And don't hesitate if you think this is worth sharing to retweet it so that more people can see it and so can gain influence and guide other people that believe in technical analysis. And obviously, if you have questions, because Jorge asked me this question in private message. If you have some, Jorge, you can ask me directly. If my answer, written answer is not enough, you can ask me in DM or just here. And all of you guys also, you can ask me anything in DM, or I will be happy to answer you. Yes, thank you.
Sounds great. Thank you, Nicholas. If nobody has any further thoughts about this topic, if anybody does, then feel free to share. If not, then I don't know, maybe would Das like to introduce your proposal?
Yeah, I could do that. Maybe I will try to share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, so I don't know, maybe should I read it first, or how do we want to go about it?
I'm not sure. Maybe you can give us a high-level overview. I haven't gotten the chance to really fully digest it. I'm not sure if many other people have yet either. So I think maybe it's best, given that it's fairly late, that we just aim to just understand it. And if you can provide a high-level overview, then we can aim to vote on it next week. That might be a good idea. Does anybody have any thoughts? I know Vlad has been following closely and stuff too. So
Yes,
Yeah.
I would like to. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, go on.
No, I was like this. I know everybody has their own personal lives, and this is probably just like some extracurricular activities we're all doing here. But I think we need higher velocity iterations of this process instead of discussing it once a week. I know that's not possible for everybody, but I would like to see more progress more rapidly than once a week when it comes to the Eden fractal. That's all I have to say about that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, sure, I agree. And that's why me and Vlad and Gian, we have been working on this throughout this week, and we started on a previous week. So we are not just working during this, not just collaborating during this meetings. At least we started collaborating off meetings as well as of right now. And yeah, maybe I will try to basically overview, explain this proposal in my own words. So basically, yeah, the purpose of this proposal is to get to introduce a process by which we can come to consensus to make decisions about Eden fractal, about changing the Eden fractal process and so on. And so the way to do it is to basically choose members of a fractal who will vote on proposals. The reason why we cannot allow every member to vote on proposals is because we want to allow anyone to join these meetings, and we have to protect from some attackers basically crashing, a lot of people crashing the meetings and becoming participants, and then making proposal pass which don't represent the values of community. So that's why we need some way to choose a council which will vote on proposals, and that's how Genesis Fractal is doing it too. And the way I present choosing a council here is by using of a good new formula which was introduced by Dan. Basically, it's a averaging function over the last 6 meetings, and it's such a function where it weights the level from the last meeting more. So basically, people who average the highest level over the last 6 meetings, top 6 members, according to this function, would be voting on proposal. When it comes to creating proposals, I suggest that anyone with an Eden token could make a proposal. But then after proposal is created, the proposal has to become eligible before it can be voted on. And this is mainly addresses what I heard Marco express in the last meeting, the need to give time for community to get notified that the council is changing the rules, and the need for the community to read the proposal. So that's why this constraint for proposal to become eligible, and the way it becomes eligible is defined here. So it has to be published in a written form on a public blockchain, and then it has to receive support from at least one council member, and at least 1 week and 1 Eden Fractal meeting has to pass after it has received support from at least 1 council member. Yeah, and after that, the council can vote on proposals, and yeah, and once 2/3 of the council, which is 4 in this case, vote yes, then proposal gets approved, and the Eden Fractal process gets changed, for example. Yeah, so that's the high-level overview, I guess. And
I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
Can you show your screen again? Can you show your screen again of the proposal? I was reading, I love it, but I have some problems. If you can share your screen again.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, do we see it?
Yeah. So where it come a problem for me, the proposal is eligible if, okay, it has been published in a written form on a public blockchain, that's no problem. It receives support, example, in a form of a vote from at least 1 council member. Why to constrain the support of a proposal only to the at least 1 council member? Why there are not the other people into this Eden Fractal that are also concerned to give support to a proposal? Because you say at least 1 council member, and the council is made of the top 6 members. That's mean the other people that are into this Eden Fractal that are not in the top 6 members and that form a council. So there is already, for me, I say what I mean, it's already like a segregation between the council, and then you have the rest of the, let's say, the ships into this Eden Fractal, the followers. And we have all to be lions. I want to see that every proposal can be considered by everyone into this Eden Fractal. The fact that you are labeled the level top 6 member, so the top 6 member, that's too much restrictive. I don't know. So that's my concern. Otherwise, I have nothing to say to the formula, and yeah, it's only this council that I see a little bit like a repetition that we have already seen in other teams or other similar. I don't know. If you want to be a little bit different with hidden fractal, I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, good question, Patrick. You are concerned about the right things, but as I mentioned in the beginning, the problem with giving everyone a vote is then that we have to constrain who can join our community, because we have to protect from cyber attacks in some way of form, in some shape or form. Because
that's okay. That's okay to constrain the who can join this this group. You have not to show your face, at least. You have not to be a bot, a fake profile. That should be into our proposal, that we have to show your face and all that. But now,
yeah, but I'm not sure if that's enough, because someone could join.
so you add another level of constraint, is the top level 6 member indeed.
Yeah, but that's only
that's for me. It's not
to the process. That's not to participate. You can still participate, but
yeah, anyone who has an hidden token can make a proposal. So you have to have an hidden token first. If you have not an hidden token, you can make a proposal. Then
yeah, but you only need to participate in one fractal meeting in order to get a hidden token. So
okay. And then you receive support. A proposal receives support from at least one council member. So only from the council member and the rest, because you can be
the 3.2. If the 3.2 actually does not add any additional constraint, because proposals can only be passed by majority of a council. So if a proposal is not able to receive support from at least one council member, it means it won't pass anywhere. So basically, it's a threshold for it's a way to signal a community. If at least one council member supports a proposal, it means the proposal might pass in the future, and the community should look into the proposal and talk with the council during hidden fractal meetings, for example.
Okay, because I want to add, you can come into this hidden fractal many weeks, and you are maybe leveled every time 3 or 2 or 4, and you do also a good job. But because it is always subjective, the breakout room, it's very subjective, this process. If you do not a good advocating good your contribution, maybe you will be leveled less, so 3, 4. And if you do a good job speaking at 500 milliseconds, like Dancing Joy, or other ones that are speaking very fast and doing the things very structured, maybe you will be leveled better. But that doesn't mean that if you are leveled 3 or 4, that you are not good. You are also maybe a good contributor into this hidden fractal. So if the proposal could be only the top 6 members constitute a council, I don't understand why we need exactly a council. What is the goal to have a council? Why we don't why we don't just have people that are voting on the proposals, and that's very democratic. You don't need specifically a council. Why we need that? Why we need this council? What is the advantage to have a council? What is the advantage?
We have a lot of people who joined once, for example, or twice, and we cannot give them the same amount of power as we give to people who participate in every meeting and are averaging high levels. And well, I guess partly your concern could be addressed by, it is addressed by Jorge. He suggests, in addition to using to averaging by level, he suggests
by level, yes. That was Dancing Joy stating that on the last meeting also. We can solve that by by level.
That's taking into account attendance. So if so you could have a possibility of of becoming a council member by simply attending a lot of meetings.
Yeah, because you show respect by going into the hidden fractal. If you don't do any contribution, at least you show, and maybe you pay attention to others. It's also respect. So that's also a contribution in a way to show your participation and pay attention to the people. So I am in favor to add the level into this, not just say from at least one council member receives support, proposal is eligible if it receives support from at least one council member, but also to take in account by level. And like this, you are not only taking only the level 6, the top 6 member, you are taking more the other levels also. So that's.
Yeah, well,
I don't know if I am clear. Okay. My concern was just to avoid too much constraint. Otherwise, I don't know, that's become a little bit, a group of people decide and the others have just to, let's say, to follow. And they are not into the top 6 members. So that was my concern. Okay. I have to reflect a little bit more, but.
Yeah. Okay, so I see a lot of other people who want to talk. Who has their hand up the longest? I don't know.
It goes in order, by the way. So June had it first, then Chris, then me, then Lenny, and so forth.
Okay, June, go on.
Hey, thanks for the initiative, Taras. I think it's a good proposal, but I do agree with Patrick about the I would say centralization when it comes to creating council members, and it's something I think we can have an alternative. I know Genesis Fractally is doing the same kinds of things. I do think you should weight those that have higher levels. I also think another way is to base it on the number of respect tokens you earn, or whether it's respect in Fractally or Eden tokens. So I think there are different ways to create efficiencies, and I think that's one of the reasons why council members and boards are very efficient. But with technology, I think it allows us to be more distributed in terms of activities. And so, EOS DAC is an example. In EOS, there was always a board for EOS DAC. I think it was 12 members. And there, to me, it was already, I think it was probably because of technology, it's hard to have everyone contribute technologically. So they had to do it for efficiency. But I think if you could find a way to get everyone involved, the stake, either via Eden tokens or level of respect or respect tokens, that already prevents the Sybil attacks. And when you vote, it's already weighted based on whether it's the level, it's the number of tokens you have. I also think even stake-based is sufficient, even a regular stake-based system, which I think we're, as Eden and Fractally are getting away from, but even those prevent Sybil. And so if you could get anybody with any token to propose something, it eventually has to be voted on anyways, especially by those with the most respect, the most tokens, whatever measure we use. And that can still be, that's still a good system to be able to vote on proposals and pass proposals. I do have a tool called dboard that is flexible, but allows people to do precisely that. And since process is so important, I think having a process where you're being able to give people time, those are the things that need to be embedded in the system. So I like that you're thinking about that. How much time do you give? How much notice do you give? You're seconding by having a council member second like a motion in a board meeting. Those are all tools and ideas that have to be incorporated in the system. So I'm glad that you guys are doing that. We can use tools though to enable more people to participate and really not even have a council. And that's kind of, I think, what would resonate with a lot of people. And whether or not, fractally, Genesis fractally goes that way, I'm not sure, but I do think that that's another alternative that we should consider strongly. That idea that, hey, just based on your tokens, based on your respect or your levels, you can participate freely and not even have a council. So those are my initial thoughts. I'd like to just reach out to you, Tadas, directly, as well as Vlad, because I know you guys are deeply into a governance, and I appreciate that you guys have done a lot. But I'm in agreement with Patrick too. I know we kind of were meeting in a lot of governance meetings in the past. So those are very good points, I think. So those are my thoughts, and I'll definitely reach out to you offline so we can discuss further some of the ideas I think I'd like to share with you guys. So that's all I got.
Sorry, Tadas, you make a good point. Council is determined by level, Patrick. Level is determined by the community, so that's change all. Because if the council was only determined like that, the top 6 level member, that was a little bit simplistic. So thank you, Tadas.
Yeah.
I have to read again. I know your intent are always good. I love you, man. So I want just to be sure that we have not just a top level council, that we have a centralization of power, and then on the bottom you have like their ships following, So that's just that. So thank you, Tadas. Nice job, and Jorge and everyone, and June. Thank you. We are saved.
Yep, thanks for the great thoughts, June, everybody. Chris or Tadas, sorry.
Yeah, so to clarify, it's top 6, but top 6 is determined by average level, which changes after every meeting by the consensus of the community. So yeah, who's next?
CAC in black and white.
Okay, let me see if I can be coherent. I am personally not against a council at this stage in the game, as early as we are. I think, I don't know. I think there needs to be a level of centralization at this point to make shit happen faster. Decentralization is not good in every application, especially in the early stages of what we're doing now. Like I say, we need to iterate faster on this process. So, I mean, I like this interim consensus proposal, but a week from the time that a council member has, I guess, agreed to somebody's proposal, that's too long, in my opinion. I think we need to elect people at this stage that has community trust and the best interest of the community at heart, and have them make decisions. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. And then decentralize at some point in the future. It's just will take too damn long, and I'm going to lose interest, and I'm going to go away and do something else. But who cares about me, right? But I'm sure other people are the same. I lose interest all the times in various projects because shit just takes so damn long to happen. That's my opinion.
I care about you.
But Chris, it's like a kind of Idononios where you elect leaders to lead you. So if you want to not be too much if we are too much decentralized, nothing will happen at the beginning. Yeah, I agree. We have to be a little bit centralized, but not too much. So it's a good pendulum. We cannot be totally decentralized or totally centralized, but a little centralization is not bad at all. Yeah. Okay, I will vote for you, Chris, for sure.
Well, I mean, how are you? I'm going to say, I got to get stuff done. I mean, just talking about it every week, it's not going to make anything happen. We got to get people that are going to make it happen.
Okay,
I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm an idiot, I mean, I'm sure that's obvious.
No.
You
are not idiot. You are not idiot.
But I don't know. I'm going to tell you, if I'm participating in something, I want it to succeed. For the longest time, I tried to scrub my name off the internet. The only a few months ago, I started using my actual name online again because I believe in what's going on here, and I want to see it succeed. I don't want my name to be tarnished by being associated with a failed project. So let's just work together and make this thing succeed.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Waxa said something interesting. Many DAOs models have a central council elected by the members, the best suited to drive the change. It's true. That's true. When you see EOS support, that's very the good example.
Yep, good point.
EOS support, it's well led by good people we trust, like Charles Arroyo Bishop here.
Yep, absolutely.
And I also have I know me and Dan participated in a ƒractal meeting on Monday, and I had some ideas that potentially could be a good business venture for some of us and make some money if anybody's interested, and maybe we can discuss that some other time. I'm not going to discuss it publicly, obviously. Don't want to give away any ideas, but if anybody's interested, maybe we can get together and discuss it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Cool. Yeah, thank you, TAC. And looking forward to that. I also want to say thank you to Evgeny. Or Evgeny.
I was thinking that was Lenny to speak now, but I am wrong, sorry.
Yeah, also Jorge asked who's next in line to talk. So I think everybody, or many people understand, but it just orders in Zoom automatically. So it's next, then CSC, then me, then Lenny and Jorge and so forth. Yeah, and thank you, Evgeny, for joining us. Really appreciate it, and hope to see you next week, and hope you have a great day. Yeah, I'll also add thanks for the inspiring words, CAC, and I'm looking forward, and thanks for the dance moves too, showing it off with us. I'm looking forward to hearing more of your thoughts and that business plan and so forth. I do think that so there's a couple of things that I want to say. First off, I shared in the chat a little bit scrolled up. There's a bunch of links where people can learn more about these, including timestamp videos where you can hear discussions about these. And I'd encourage everybody to check these out and to get involved with these discussions, because I think that they're really important. And I do think that this is a really important decision for the community. Like it's not a decision we have to wait for a super long time for, because we can always modify it as long as it's sufficiently good enough, then we can use it and then steer a course from there. But I think this is pretty much like the biggest decision for Eden Fractal for a while. And we don't have any pressing matters that we need to make decisions about, like next week or anything like that. Like there's a lot of things we want to get done, but I think that taking our time to make this process work well is most important. And I think that this exploration is really helpful too. So I'm not in a rush to pass it this week or next week. I think that we should try to pass it in the next coming weeks, and next week would be great if possible, but there's a lot of discussion here. So I think we can take our time and just try to get this right. And this exploration together is a good learning experience for all of us.
Today, right now.
Well, this is so right now, I don't know. That also brings up another question that I have, or another statement. So logistically, how would we vote this proposal in, or any proposal in? So when we voted proposal in for the Genesis Fractal, we used the system whereby people who get level 6 that week would vote on it yes and form the council. But currently, we don't have a logistical path to actually enact a proposal. So like if say we did Tadas's proposal, then we'd have to see the top 6 can make a decision. But I think that there is a benefit to having it whereby people can review the proposal and then vote in that next week's contribution breakout rooms on who they think is best to vote on the proposal as level 6 or level 5 or level 4. So even if we go with Tadas's proposal or some other proposal, like it might be helpful just logistically to figure out a different system just to vote it in, whereby we can vote on it in the first place, if that makes sense.
You got to remember that this community has the ability to fork away if the alleged powers that be aren't doing what the rest of the community think is right. Just remember that.
Yep, that's true. Forkability, it's a huge advantage of Eden Fractal and all DAOs. Although, of course, I think in many or most cases, it's best if we can work together rather than fork away. And 1 + 1 = 3. We can do more together. So that's a good backup option if needed. And I'm sure there'll be many forks in the future with all sorts of fractals, but good to keep in mind. Yeah, and then a couple of thoughts that I'll share quickly here too, in addition to my feedback for Tadasa. One, yeah, thank you so much, Tadas, and also Vlad and John for all the great work. And then Yeah, I'm also a bit concerned about the 1 week delay. I feel like that might reduce the agility of the group by a substantial amount. I'm not sure if that's valuable or that's worth it. But also I haven't had a chance to fully deep dive into it, so I'm planning to do that. And I'm planning to re-listen to this video, so I'll have more. I'll try to do it via text as well, so I'll be able to share more like deeply thought out feedback and so forth. But that's one thing that jumps out to me. And then also I do resonate with what Patrick was saying, what June was saying about if you just have a council of say 6 people, that does feel pretty exclusive in many ways. And you can vote and change it, but I mean, there could, I don't think there'd be incumbency, but then if 6 people have the power, then it does kind of give power for them to change the rules as they see fit. And it reduces the agility of the community to, change leaders each week. Like one of the advantages of the current consensus process is that if people don't agree with something, then they can vote differently the next week, whereas it takes several weeks to change the average rank. But that's just something to consider. Something also that I might make an alternate proposal for, I mentioned it last week, which I feel like might work well, and I'd be curious to hear what people think about it, is just voting with rank. If we tokenize rank and use consortium to vote on rank, then we can, I think that would be like legally cool because we're not voting with the respect token, and I think it'd be easy, and then everybody could vote, and that kind of bit provides some. It's very simple, and just if people have only attended a few meetings, then their rank is low, so they have a lower vote. If people have attended a lot and get a higher respect, then they have a higher rank. So that might be another simple proposal too. That I'd be curious to hear if people have thoughts about that. We discussed it a little bit before, but that's what I'll share for now, and I'm interested to hear if anybody has thoughts about that. Oh, and then also June too. And Chris mentioned, like, maybe it is a good idea for us to have another meeting sometime this week or something like that. I'd be happy to meet, and we could just discuss this. We could also record it so that people could see it. That might be a good idea because obviously there's a lot of thoughts here. So if we want to do that, then we can talk about it here or arrange in Discord, and I'd be happy to join that meeting as well if we want to do that. I think that's a good idea.
Vlad, can you explain what you mean when you say let Tadas be dictator, who listen to us today, and based on that decide on the detail of the process? It's really what you mean, or it is
yes.
a joke? Is it a joke?
No, it's not a joke. That way yeah.
It's not a joke.
No.
Okay, so perfect. Thank you. I am not agreeing with that. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. So who is the next dictator?
Nobody.
He's not
nobody.
a dictator. He's just doing a proposal, and we are thinking about this proposal and understanding his proposal. For the moment, I have understood what he said. So there is no dictator in that. Otherwise, I don't see the point to have a proposal if there is a dictator. You are just to follow him. No, sorry.
May I suggest we leave that topic and continue? We've been here 2.5 hours already.
Yeah, let's proceed.
Productive.
Thank you.
Sorry, I have to react when I see dictator in that. I am not okay. Not.
Okay, I guess it's my turn to speak.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, several things. I did propose a change to the formula, which is the average level, or the formula Tadas has in his document, multiplied by the natural logarithm of the number of attended meetings. However, this formula doesn't change the order of the first spots. It does change the tail, but not the first spots. So I don't think introducing the logarithm actually changes the council. Aside that, I'll share my screen now to show you guys what would be the council right now if the proposal is implemented. This is the Eden respect distribution. So if the council, which is not the average level, but is an estimate of the average level. So if the council were formed today, according to Tadas' proposal, it will be conformed by the first 6 people, which will include until immortal, and many of the people that are big contributors but don't have highest levels. For example, Lenny or Duane Philippe will be excluded from the council.
If I might just say one thing, I think Gian made or Tadas made a spreadsheet that actually shows it more clearly because it's showing the respect tokens, but it is a little bit different. And I think that there's another spreadsheet that shows more projections directly for their proposals. I'm not sure though, but just figured I'd mention it.
Yeah, correct. Well, the point is that if we were to implement the proposal today, the council will be formed by these 6 people.
That is not true.
Which I think it's just okay. If you look at the people that will be outside of the council, you have a lot of people that are not regular attenders. People like, for example, the guy from D News, Perry. He comes from time to time, but he's not a regular attender. And Chris, the guy from Helios, which also comes from time to time, but it's not a regular attender. So I think for starters, is quite a good proposal. The only thing is that if this community, instead of having around 30 members, will have around 100 members or 200 members, then 6 people will be really, really a small fraction of the community. So I'll suggest that instead of limiting the council to 6 members, we limit it to 1% of the community. Let's say 25% or 20%, something like that, so that the bigger the community grows, the bigger the council also grows, and no plutocracy, not plutocracy, but no elite, no elite, very high elite is formed. Aside that, I am totally on the Chris side that it's feeling like we need to get this now, if possible today. So I'll say that after thinking more than 2 weeks about this, this is the best we have come to. So I'll say that we adopt it, and or at least establish a limit to adopt it, and put some criteria for modifying it. The thing is that if we adopt it, at least we will have something to build upon, and we could be able to move forward. So
sure.
Looking at the data and the graphs and my proposal and Tada's work and all the members of the community, I'll say the proposal is pretty decent, pretty acceptable. So I'll say we go for it, and we can build upon it. And if definitely it's not working, then we can modify it later, following the proposal, following the consensus that we could already have. Thank you.
Now I understand what Vlad was thinking. Sorry. I take that to the first degree. When I was hearing dictator, I was like, okay, but that's okay now. But I agree with Jorge. We have to, and with Chris, we have to do the things. We have not to wait 3 weeks or 4 weeks to finally decide what we want to do. We have to begin somewhere, and on the way, on the road, we can pivot. If something is not clear, we can change. We are humans, we discuss here, and we are not dictators, we discuss. We are democratic, so let's begin something, yeah, sure. And just to tell us, maybe I will be here every week, maybe I will not be here for a month, so I am no more in the council, because now, if you see the graphic of Jorge of before, that's on chain. I am into the 6 to be into the council, but maybe if I don't join anymore during a month, maybe I am no more into the council. So that's why I think we have to mix the council with the levels, and that will be good like that. Okay.
Sorry to intervene. I have to leave for a reunion, but great chat so far. I'll be at the fireside chat today, and if there's another meeting for going about this process again during the week, very much interested in participating as well. But otherwise, I'll see you all at the next meeting. Anyway,
thank you, Charles, to come with us. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much, Charles.
Well, have a great day. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. I love this proposal. I will just challenging a little bit Tadas and open the discussion and that we discuss here. Otherwise, you are all like, oh yeah, that's a good proposal, and we don't discuss. So at least we challenging, and that's nice. Okay, Vlad or Dan or Tadas, you want to speak? Okay, I let you. And Jayan also. Oh, Jayan, you want to speak? You have to give the mic to Jayan.
Tadas raised his hands first, and then Vlad, then me, then John.
Yeah. So
I think I'm not in the possibility.
Nice.
So first, I want to respond to June's suggestion to weighting influence based on need and token. One thing I think this community wants to avoid is allowing people to buy in power here by not even though they don't participate in the community. We don't want this DAO to be run by token holders as opposed to community. I mean, and that's what we would get if you would simply weight influence by the amount of token that someone has. And maybe weighting by amount of earned tokens would be a bit better. But still, like one thing I suggest keeping in mind that we don't yet have any consensus process. So I just suggest this, like that's why it's called interim consensus process. And I think a lot of choices I made in this proposal were aimed towards simplicity. I'm sure some of you might come up with something better, but this is something temporary so that we can then use to adopt better system. And yeah, and Dan also asked how this proposal would be passed. I don't know, maybe we could start by making a consortium poll and just to gauge the amount of support that this proposal has in the community. And then if it has, if majority of frequent attenders support it, then I think we just start using it. And otherwise, I guess we will look into other options. Yeah, so I think Vlad had his hand raised for a while now.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea to set up a poll to see, like, to gauge the sentiment. But I wanted to respond to Jorge in regards to who forms the council. It's not who holds the most tokens, but who gained the most tokens during the last 6 meetings. So it only takes into consideration the last 6 meetings and takes the average from there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's it.
Good point. Yeah.
Yep. Thanks, Vlad, and thanks to Das. Yeah, and that's also, I think I did find it into Das's spreadsheet that he shared recently. It has a slightly different order. So Jorge, you're actually in the top 6 from what I can understand from there. And I don't know if I shared the link already, but I'll share it here. I'll share both to Das's spreadsheet and then Gion's spreadsheet. I don't think Gion's spreadsheet details exactly about this, but it has related data. And then Tadas's spreadsheet has top by decision power and top by average level. So I'm a little bit confused about exactly what all these mean, but it is different than the respect token distribution than you mentioned before. Patrick also said, I think consortium is a good tool. And I think Waxa mentioned Telos Decide earlier in the chat. And from what I understand, consortium can do everything that Telos Decide can do for the most part. I've watched a couple of videos and Telos Decide seems to have a nice interface, but I think it makes the most sense to use consortium, being that
it's on EOS.
It's on EOS and Vlad's here at the community. I'm also a big fan of consortium, as is Lenny and many other people. So I think I'd be interested to learn more about Telos Decide too, if it does have unique features that we'd be benefiting from. I know they did have some cool stuff in the works, but for now, I think that consortium can do a lot of the job and more in some ways. And then, Yeah, and then D board too. So I've looked into D board, June, and I still don't know very much about it. I read Pomelo pitch and I've listened to you speak about it, but I'm interested to learn more about it too. So I'd be interested if there's some ways that we can use that here. I remember you mentioned it. So that's something cool to explore, and I'm interested to learn more about. And then some thoughts. One thing, I think that using level to vote might be better than using respect earned, but that could be a way to keep it simple and avoid, like, I think one of the things with council, I would love to make this voting process where we can use it for voting a lot of stuff. Like I've been thinking of like collaborative websites and stuff, and if everybody could have a place in voting, then I think that would be cool. It's not necessarily something we need now, and I suppose we could start off with a small council and then further decentralize and give people more power, but like there is something cool about that, although I also see the different sides to having a smaller council as well. But like I feel like that could make it more competitive. Like if somebody's ranked level 7, then it could be like, oh, I really want to be level 6 this week so I could be in the top council, which could be good, but it could be bad too. So I don't know. Like I could see benefit to making it where people can participate more. And then the same question that you asked Das in that post, and thank you for making that post, that kind of reoriented Dan Larimer in his thinking, where you said, like, what if people don't show up? I don't know if you accounted for that in your proposal, but that's also something. If we only have 6 people on the council, and then if 2 people don't show up, then does that mean the whole group can't move forward? That's something that I'd want to know the answer to as well. And then just as a general note, I think that like I don't see the rush. I've heard a couple people say we should get this done today, and I don't agree. I don't think it'd be a good idea to do this today. I see a rush to do this soon in the coming weeks, but I don't see, like, there's no outstanding proposals that need to be passed this week or next week. And there's a lot of questions right now. And the Genesis Fractal is also going through the same thing too. So I think it would be wise for us to, kind of work with the Genesis Fractal, see what they say, see what Dan Larimer and the Fractal team share, and then keep thinking about this for
Fuck
this week
Fractally.
and so forth.
No.
Yeah, that's not good, Chris.
Sorry.
That's not cool at all.
No, I want to say we have to take in account what the Genesis Fractal is doing, but not being biased or not being independent. We stated on the last week, Hidden Fractal is a circle. We have to grow our circle, be independent, do the things for ourselves. While in the same time taking the good things of the fractal paradigm of the Genesis Fractal, but not make a replication with our proposal. Let's our brain doing the wash, doing the things like Tadas with Giant, are doing a good job. Jorge, myself, I am just reading. I am not thinking about this proposal. But now I will study, and that's the first week now that we are discussing of this proposal more in detail. So let's going but I know that you are joking a lot, Chris, for sure.
Let me make it clear, I support what the Fractally team's doing, but look how long it's taken him to do this. Over 6 months now since the white paper. I don't want to drag this shit on as long as that.
I agree also.
Well,
you guys allow me to?
Yeah, sure, Jorge, but I just want to just say a bit more because Patrick jumped in while I was saying something. But yeah, so I agree that we shouldn't be dependent on the Fractally team, but there's a lot of wisdom there. And I think it would be unwise of us for us to just move ahead without considering that wisdom.
Yes.
And also just in our own group too, there's a lot of questions that we don't have answered, and I don't see a need to pass this like now or today or anything like that. I think that it's best that we just take our time. I think these discussions are really helpful. And also to Chris's point, they had the Genesis Fractal did pass a proposal, but now they're just trying to make it better. But yeah, I mean, like once we have a need to do this, then we can do it as soon as possible, and we should still strive to do it in the coming weeks. But I think that there's so much to consider that we should at least wait a week and discuss this more before we pass anything.
And also, it's not good to be stressed by the time. Otherwise, you are not taking the time to think. So don't be too much stress. Don't be too much long. It's a good pendulum. We will find a consensus on this proposal for sure. I am totally sure that we will do that. Because we are a good people, we are intelligent people, pragmatic people, and like Dan said, we have to take in account what is doing, paying attention to what is doing Genesis Fractal. At the same time, we want to do our stuff also. So I think I have good understood what you said, Dan. I hope I have not put word into your mouth. I don't want to be the guy that puts word into the mouth of the people. So
yep.
very important.
That makes sense. Thanks, Patrick.
Okay.
And yeah, Jorge had something to say, but he just walked out. I guess he has something to do. We have been going on for over 2.5 hours. I don't know if Tadas would like to share any other points, or Vlad, or if anybody else would like to share any points. Nobody has their hands raised, and I'd be happy to hear if anybody has any thoughts to share.
I encourage everyone here to send your contribution to the Eden Fractal mind map. I have put into the chat, I don't know if you have seen, there is a link to send your contribution to the mind map. And like that, like the proposal of Tadas, I will put into the mind map. If you don't send me the contribution, I will put in all cases into the mind map. But everyone, Lenny also, all what you have written into the chat now, that was nice. So all this stuff, I will save the chat. I will save this chat. That's very important. There is a lot of talk with Vlad also. I love the dictator part. I will put that into a category, special category, dictatorship into the mind map. That would be nice.
Yeah, there was so much. Saving the chat is a good idea, I think, because
I will save this chat.
And maybe we should post it in Discord or something. I don't know. I know, like, there are so many ideas. Like, I know Lenny shared a lot of good ideas. I don't know if we got to everything.
Into the mind map. And into the early days, we have a brainstorming session on EOS to speak about Fractally on EOS. I was with Vlad, with Tadas, Dan Sinjoy, Jesse Jaffe. The idea of this Fractally brainstorming session that was each week. So Eden Fractal now, it's the next iteration of the Fractally brainstorming session for Eden Fractal. So we use that mind map already. So June, you can also post into the mind map. That would be great. So, but I will already organize the mind map with all what was speaking into this chat. I have work. Nice. Okay, so I will save that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and also Jorge's back, so if Jorge wants to share some thoughts, that would be cool. But yeah, I'll also just say thanks to everybody. This is like wonderful how much engagement and thoughtful consideration there is over this proposal, as well as everything we're doing in Fractal. So I think that's a really good sign and signal for the Eden Fractal community and EOS and Fractal governance and stuff like that.
Okay.
So that's awesome, and thank you.
I'll suggest, guys, that we really focus ourselves on going to the point when we talk in order to make these meetings more efficient. Also, regarding the pie chart I showed that had the total accumulated respect, I know that that is not what the Excel spreadsheets show, in the sense that they don't have the same, they are not considering the same quantities. But if you look at the council, they are pretty much the same in all cases. So it feels like we are debating between different options that are providing the same output. And in this space, in every highly innovative space, the most important thing, more important than anything, is the rate of innovation. So we cannot spend weeks and weeks, spend 3 weeks talking about self-ranking and then spend 3 weeks talking about consensus interim proposals. In a centralized company, for example, in Tesla, this is a matter that should have been solved in a matter of 2 hours, maybe. I do hear your point, Dan, of receiving some feedback from the Fractally team. However, if you take that as a permanent mental framework, you will always be below them, below their pace of innovation. You will constrain this community to be behind them, which will be totally unfair with this community. So I'll say, I don't know what you guys said during the last 5 minutes, but I'll say if most of the people are already left, but we set a deadline to get this consensus interim proposal done by next meeting, and whatever it happens, but we would have something upon which we can build more. We need to innovate faster if we are to be competitive within the EOS ecosystem and within the bigger crypto space.
Yeah,
And also, if there is a better proposal from someone, please post it. I posted a post introducing the logarithm. Taras took the work to create these files and the spreadsheets. So we need to be respectful with the people that took the time to do that work, and not keep them waiting and waiting for other possible other possible ideas that we are not sure at all if they are coming. What about that? What about setting a deadline for next week to get this interim proposal passed or rejected, hopefully passed, and with whatever modification we choose, and then move on?
For me, I don't see a need to set a deadline next week. If we can do it next week, that's great. But I don't think it's the kind of thing that, you know, comparing to Tesla, like 2 hours, like I think this is a really big decision for the group, and we don't have anything that
But it's not a fixed
necessary
decision.
for this.
It's
Yeah,
not.
it's
It's
true.
not like
Yep.
it's something we can adjust over time. We just need to iterate faster.
Keyword
big,
interim.
Yes, it's big, yes, but it's not definitive.
I agree with
that's true. I
Jorge.
agree.
I agree with Jorge on one side. If we don't fix, let's say, milestone, we will do nothing. If we don't fix for next week, for example, that everyone may be sent to the mind map, I have put into the discussion chat, send the links to the mind map, and I will update the hidden fractal mind map. There will be the proposal of Tadas. There will be maybe June DAM things. There will be Lenny things. But all this chat now, I am saving this chat and I will organize the mind map with that. The goal of the mind map is to brainstorm. At least we have a support to brainstorm. And there will be, into this mind map, there is a link to the Discord channel Named proposals, where there are the proposal of Jorge, Tadas, and others. But the goal of this mind map is to have all in one HTML5 page that you can have on your laptop if you want, but that's online on myweb.io. So that's the goal of this mind map. That's not just to say, that's not like crypto mind maps. No, that's to work together, to brainstorm. And Dancing Joy, I understand you. You don't want to put any date, any milestone. You want to leave the people free. Okay, but sorry, at a point we have to put a little bit milestone. Otherwise, what's your problem, Chris? You have, seems to be that you have a problem of respiration or what?
Who, me?
Yeah,
Me?
you make like that. I don't know.
Oh, Jorge said in the chat that he's leaving. I was just waving goodbye like a maniac.
Yeah. But we are just repeating what we have said the last week. Jorge was just, let's say, validating what we said last week. We have to iterate like an innovation startup. We are a startup, and we are creating something. On October 23rd, there will be a video by myself with Dancing Joy and Felix Ruiz, October 23rd. After 4 months of existence of this hidden fractal, what is the goal of the video of October 23rd? That's to give an image of hidden fractal, like a good startup with good people in, a good pendulum between centralization, decentralization, a good proposal, and that maybe ENF will pay attention with what, or maybe not, but we will try to do our best that they pay attention for what we do. They will see, oh, those people, they are not just only speaking, they are iterating fast, they are innovating, and we will support them. And Genesis Fractal 1, respect to all what they are doing there, but we have to take the ingredients of the fractal paradigm there into our things, but not be totally, I would say, like a prerequisite to do our things. I am totally agreeing with Jorge. Oh, sorry, I am agreeing a lot with what said Jorge and Chris and others, Lenny, Vlad.
Yep.
We have to do our things. The tool that has created done, Vlad, is a super tool to push the consensus on the hidden fractal. You don't have this tool into Fractal Genesis 1. This tool React app that we have into hidden fractal. That's for our hidden fractal. That's nice. We have a good argument into this hidden fractal. We don't want to be the best one. It's not a competition. We just want to be a good fractal, a good circle. Voilà, that's what we want to do. And we have all the tools when we have good people. What you can ask more.
Yep. Another thing I'd like to add too, which is partially in response to you, Patrick, partially in response to Jorge, so I don't know if I'll listen to this, but I think just good to keep in mind too, is that the Eden Fractal is innovating greatly. And thanks, Vlad. Great meeting. Looking forward to seeing you again soon. But yeah, I was going to say the Eden Fractal is innovating greatly. Like I'm working essentially full-time, probably more than full-time on Eden Fractal behind the scenes, as are many people working for Eden Fractal or working for Eden and working for EOS, and we're meeting, we're reaching consensus. So we're doing a lot. Like this is one part of what we're doing. It's not like this is holding us back from doing everything. So I think that's helpful to keep in mind that we're still doing a lot and we're innovating very quickly. We're not beholden to what Fractal team is doing. We're doing so many things differently already. And this is one thing that it's very important, but I think also viewing it practically too, like what do we want to vote? Like that's another thing to consider. Once we actually pass the proposal to set the interim consensus process, then what are our priorities to vote on? Because right now I feel like people are acting like it's a big priority to do it. But why? Like there's a bunch of stuff that I want to vote in, but for me, it's like it's okay to wait a couple weeks on these things. Like there's nothing that I think we need to vote on next week. So I think that's why it's helpful to take our time to some extent.
If you don't get it, then I don't think you're thinking hard enough about it.
Okay, well, we also don't have to go into it because we've been for almost 3 hours or something too. So I suppose we could maybe start to wrap it up, unless other people have other thoughts too. That's cool too.
I agree with Vlad. I think we should have the process set for the next meeting. I have a lot of proposals. If we have the process set up, like the mind map, that's a super tool. Like the construction app, it's a super tool. We have all the tools, so we can set up the framework to do our proposal, because he has a lot of proposals. Vlad seems to be.
Cool. Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing those proposals. And I also agree too. Like doing it fast is cool in many ways. And then yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing the proposals. And then
what?
Sorry, I also got confused by the parliamentary thing too, and I lost my train of thought.
Lenny, it's a joke. Or what? Come modern, I will be able to put my mind into this unless
That's a very short question. I've been apologizing for national elections. I'm one of the candidates, but don't worry, that party is not going to get in, not yet. Halfway to what we are doing is too early, but 2026.
2026? We are 2022, so 4 years. Okay, a lot of shit can happen until there. Okay. You are muted, by the way.
Back to the topic now. Sorry, I should have mentioned that.
Yeah, you have distractors. Diversion, manipulation. Wow.
Well, yeah, Lenny, thanks for sharing. I hope that goes well. And then, yeah, I don't know exactly what I was going to say anymore. So I suppose if anybody else wants to say anything, that's cool.
I better get out of here.
Yeah, I'm kind of tired, so I think maybe I'll turn my video off and just listen if you want to keep talking. But maybe I'll do that. Any thoughts, June?
No, thanks for organizing everything, Dan. Really appreciate it. Thanks for all the thoughts. Mind map, I'm going to start using, Patrick. And
Thank
Lenny,
you.
good luck. Good luck on the elections. I don't know what's going on in Europe, but it seems like a lot of crazy things happening over there. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, there's just a lot of things. It's great, and I'll add it to the mind map. Hopefully, we'll get some other alternative kind of maybe ideas around just the way we structure the organization. it's interesting because I do understand efficiency. I think for a startup, it's just better to just start small and have some core people that just iterate. So this is a little bit different. I think this is more like an ecosystem, I guess, building an ecosystem. So I think larger groups, getting larger groups together, having it more decentralized is fine. So I think those are the two I think mindsets I come with, because to me this is more like a public good, like group project. And then the startup that I'm working on is more like just more traditional. It's more traditional proof of stake, just this, that, and other. Anyway, so that's how I treat it. So I think other people might treat it a little differently. So anyways, that's pretty much it. So one other thing, more on a selfish note, one of the things difficult with this in general is like regulatory, right? And Patrick, you mentioned it. Like a lot of times, like we don't know what the legal outcomes are going to be if we get challenged by regulators. We may have to, I guess, prepare worst case that we're treated as a general partnership, because to me, legally, that makes sense. Dan makes a good point. This is not really talked about a lot in the broader ecosystem, but generally, if it comes to court and there is one case against a DAO where a class action is treating the DAO as a general partnership, I think legally that actually makes sense. Jurisdictions, nation state jurisdictions can treat organizations as DAOs. So I like Fractally is really innovating on trying to minimize the legal footprint. I think we just have to consider
they are creating a DAC, decentralized autonomous community currency corporation, co-petition, collaboration, and because the criteria for a DAC is no external property, all run by smart contract, paying attention to the information and the data, and not the people themselves. However, we love the people. So DAC is a subset of a DAO. DAO is a very old stage. The new age is DAC. And now they are searching into, with this paper that he has written, Daniel Larimer, with this judgment baton on the table, this judgment thing on the table, the state of the DAO. Into this article, he's speaking more about what is becoming a DAO. It's becoming a DAC. So they are now looking for how they can become a real DAC with Wyoming and all this stuff. That's since before August 6th, we had to vote on something. It is not yet. It is not yet, because from week to week it is for push it again, because that's not so clear. So here we have to be very clear, crystal clear, no doubt with this proposal. And if it is, let's say, not perfect, that's not the point. We can always change on the road. I hope, Dan, that we will be able to change the proposal on the road if it is not going exactly as it was supposed to go. Don't be frozen with the paper. That's not good to have only paper and we cannot change something.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's important to be flexible. Just to clarify, though, you're talking about DACs. They are labels. Are you talking about the Genesis fractal? Talking about like getting a real world identity, or is that something separate?
Maybe address the question of Giant, because he has interesting question from a while into the chat here. He said, is interim process important? Is interim process important now? Is the question I want to ask now for Eden Fractal. That's a good question. We have already asked this question last week. If it is important to have an interim process for this Eden Fractal, or maybe we could collect all the things into the mind map or into whatever and we discuss later. Maybe it's too early to make an interim process now, just now. But let's move in the direction of an interim process, but don't be with a threshold on your head that is stating we have to do an interim process. That's the question that he is asking here. That's very on the point, I would say. Maybe try to understand.
So if I could share a couple of things here. One, in response to Gian, I believe that the interim consensus process is incredibly important for the ƒractal in the coming weeks. I don't believe it's super important this week or necessarily next week, but in this month, I think it's super, super important. And I want to get done within the next 2 or 3 weeks, certainly.
Why it is important into the next 3 weeks to have an interim process for this hidden fractal?
Well, many reasons. Like Vlad said, he had a bunch of proposals he wanted to share. People can make proposals. We could say, like today in our room, we weren't sure about the rule about video, so we can make rules about videos. We can make all sorts of rules to protect the community and so forth. Also,
interim process, not interim proposal. I am stupid.
Yes,
we need to have an interim process
or
to
interim
do
process.
proposals. Yeah, sorry, I was lost.
And then particularly for me, before my chief delegate term is over, I'm going to launch a new initiative for Eden Builders, whereby the interim consensus process, like the council or whatever we decide, can vote on decisions to manage the website. So I think it's really important to have that in place. And particularly for this project that I'm launching, in addition to other projects, that I want to get this done within the coming weeks. So I think it's very important, but I don't think it's a huge priority for this week or next week necessarily. But certainly 2 or 3 weeks from now, I think it's really important. And then also to answer what June was talking about, or respond to it, as well as Patrick. Patrick, you sometimes draw a distinction between DACs and DAOs, but I think that they can basically be interchangeable in many cases, whether it's a community organization.
When I was interviewing Daniel Larimer at the beginning of the year, when there was this fractal paradigm coming, and Mandel, now the new name is LEAP protocol for Mandel, he was stating that he was the first one that was inventing the name DAC before even that the DAOs
I agree.
The DAOs exist.
I know you're talking about.
And he did that also to make like a clear separation between Vitalik Buterin with Ethereum and the DAO in 2016, and with this CryptoKitties game that has made a congestion of on the Ethereum blockchain, and because of that, you have had the Ethereum Classic that was born, the token Ethereum Classic. So he has created DAC to be very open-minded, because the C of DAC, first, decentralized is the first letter, autonomous is the second letter, so you have to be decentralized and autonomous, and then the C, that could be communities, currency, corporation, anything that we want. So for me, Eden Fractal, that's my opinion, Eden Fractal is becoming a DAC. We are creating a decentralized autonomous community. And to lead this community, we need a little bit centralization, a good pendulum between centralization, decentralization, because we have to iterate fast. The decision has to be taken fast. So that's nice. I am okay with that. I am okay. Yeah. Like Yves Larose with ENF. They have made if there was no ENF with Yves Larose and all that, EOS would die for sure. But we are continuing into the good direction. So let's say that Eden Fractal is a kind of EOS support, but with more decentralization in it, maybe.
So I think I understand what you're saying with the DAC and DAO terminology. I think that we can probably call Eden Fractal a DAC or a DAO and avoid getting too hung up on the words. Like when
I am not fan of the words also, because sometimes you say a word and you don't understand what is behind. The most important is what is behind Eden Fractal. What is the goal of all that? Because the name Eden Fractal could also, maybe the name of Eden Fractal could also change into the future to become contributors, I don't know, team. Because Eden Fractal for the moment is empowering Eden on EOS, and is also empowering EOS. But when you see the name Eden Fractal, you think, oh, Hidden Fractal is a fractal of Hidden on EOS. It's not true. Hidden Fractal is the team where the people can speak, share their contribution, and they are respected with EOS, Hidden Respect, and NFTs. That's the cookie part, voila. But the name, that's mean nothing.
Yeah.
That's what we do behind that is important.
I think the name Eden Fractal is great, but I think that similar to Steam and Hive, you could have different names for different fractals, like Peaked and Hive.blog and so forth. I think that fractal is going to work in the same way. And interested to discuss that in the future. I think the Genesis Factory might want to do that as well. But yeah, I do want to just respond to it. You guys were talking about before, and June mentioned before. I think that this article, "What is the legal standing of a DAO," is really insightful. And one of the reasons why I'm advocating for learning from the ƒractal team is because they have like Dan and Gregory and all these people who are really smart, who are working with lawyers to be very practical and very, I suppose, safe and protective of the community, being very deliberate about figuring out how to organize how the DAO or the DAC works for the Genesis fractal and all other fractals to protect communities from legal liability, which the amount of laws in the world are going up at exponential rate, and there's a lot of corruption. And so I think we should do everything that we can to protect our community from liability. And so I think that this article provides a lot of helpful advice. And then as far as the Genesis fractal, they're aiming to absolutely avoid being classified as general partnership, because that brings liability to everybody involved, from what I understand. And they're aiming to, I think, register in Texas as a unincorporated nonprofit or association, a UNA. And so
Texas, yeah.
I would recommend that we try to do a similar thing that they're doing. Not exactly the same, we'll do it in our own way, but learning from what they're doing, because they're learning a lot about that. And I think that it's for the best of our community to learn about these things, to protect our community from liabilities and empower the community.
Remember a thing: when you read the article with this button on the table, like a judge, and stating what is a DAO, that is written in the last paragraph by Daniel Larimer himself. All what I am stating, it's not true. All what I am stating, he say himself to protect him. He say that's totally new. We don't know. That's an experiment. So yes, we need to have some information of the Genesis Fractal 1 to know if that goes well with this Texas DAO thing. And about the comment by Giant here, he say, is interim process important now? Is the question we have answered. I want to ask now what for Hidden Fractal we have answered, and he said 1 month. That is a milestone. That's all I wanted to know. Yeah, 1 month seems to be great to have in 1 month this process, interim process in place, and that will be perfect and aligned with the interview that we will do about Hidden Fractal update number 2, because we will say into this video, I hope, we have an interim process. We have about 4 months of existence with this Hidden Fractal, and we was able, with people into this Hidden Fractal, to create a good interim process. So that would be a very good milestone if we do that. What do you think, Dan? That would be a good milestone.
I think so. I'm sorry, I spaced out a little bit. I would like to go and stop staring at the screen right now. I think I'm gonna get my phone and switch over to audio, because I'm getting a little bit tired. But I think I agree with what you're saying, though, Patrick.
You don't have to, but
okay.
Seems to be that we are aligned. Okay, so
yes.
Okay, as often we are aligned. Yeah,
I'll be back in a moment.
Yeah. That's nice, June, that you have decided to join, because I was following you a lot. I have to be honest. I am following you, and I was also coming into your podcast. I remember in 2020, or maybe in the early days. And after, I was very focused on EOS Nation Ambassador and all this stuff, and doing the workshops. And I have leave a little bit the let's say, the voting part and all these political things. And now I see that the governance. I see that the governance is very important. now I have the perfect example into Hidden Ƒractal. We need to have some governance process in place, but agile, very agile, and seems to be that we are very agile. That's nice, and I am happy to have you here.
Yeah,
I think that's a good asset for the community to have June Dam into those meeting. If you can come when you can, for sure. Like me, I say I will come maybe in 1 month, and indeed I am here fast every Wednesday. I have maybe lose maybe 2 weeks in a row because I was very busy with the consulting, with the project manager that I have. He was looking at me. Now it seems to be that he's a little bit quiet, so I am able to join again. That's nice.
Yeah, no,
I respect my project manager. But I don't tell him that I am into EOS and all this stuff, because sometimes the people are not getting what you are doing. So that's not the pain to explain too much sometimes.
Gotcha.
Okay, but very nice that you are here. Yeah.
Thanks. So,
oh, and
yeah,
we
I
have
guess
another Dan on the line. That's nice. There is two. You see, there are 2 Dan. There is one in with the head. Oh, it's your brother.
Duplicating here. Sorry that.
Oh, Giant was into the video. Nice.
How's it going, John?
Yeah, I love Giant. He's joining every week and he's contributing a lot. I want also to contribute to you, Giant, because you are doing a fantastic work. I have gave my 450 EOS to Tadas, but it's sure you are also participating to the spreadsheet and all this stuff. So don't take my gesture to Tadas like, let's say, favoritism. But I have to choose someone, and I was thinking about Tadas because he is since a while with the albedo, and yeah. So, but if I can give something to you also, that would be nice, because you are doing a fantastic job. So, thank you.
Yeah, but hope you can hear me.
Yeah, we are here, you, and we see you.
For Taras, I think I couldn't understand what he was doing for a long time, and then last week I went in and I read all that, read the the post where he made it simple. So I read that and I got an idea, and I now get what he's trying to do. So it's nice.
I too.
I asked him some doubts here.
What he do? Imagine. No, he do a fantastic.
Yeah, he's doing a lot. He's thinking a lot. The first meeting I had in ƒractal, I was with Taras, and at that time, I was not aware of, I didn't know what to do.
No, you do a lot of things, New Legend. You do a lot of things. You do a lot of things into Hidden on EOS also. And Chris Barnes has give you some. I saw he give you some EOS also. So that's a good gesture, I think. Yeah.
It was fun for me. I learned a lot doing that, and now what I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to read through all the Telegram messages of the Eden group. So I'm reading from the top.
Good luck. There is a lot of message. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of message as well. There is a lot. There is a lot that has not been done. Yeah, too much noise. Yes, and yeah, and for Eden ƒractal, it's like the people are here. The people are not in Telegram. People are not.
In real, or let's say, a part real. Yeah.
Yes.
No, I prefer to be into the Discord videos like that, and where we can share our thought, post into the chat, discussion chat, save the chat. Then I do the mind map. That's a nice tool. I have no bot for the moment for extract the discussion chat. If I would have a bot to extract the discussion chat of a Discord, I can create a mind map. No, it's not easy. I have a bot to extract a server, Discord server and channel, and create a mind map automatically. But here, if I have to extract this chat and create the mind map automatically, there is no structure. It's not possible. I have to take the text and decide myself what I put into the mind map. So you need a human to do the things. At least you can send something to the mind map by using the form June. The web form is very easy. Giant used also. That's for everyone. That's very easy to use. You put your you don't have to put your email, but you can put your email. You put your EOS account. You put important. You put the topic that you want to see appearing into the mind map. You put the title. Topic is the title. Then the category is named contribution, but you can choose maybe to put a new name for a category, and it will have a new category. And you put a URL link, so it's a link, URL link to a YouTube video or a Google Doc or you know what you decide to link. And after that, I update the mind map. I receive all that into a database for sure, mind web database. I receive all that into a database, and I see, oh, Giant was sending me something today. I receive an email, a notification by email that is stating to me, you have new contribution into the mind for the mind map. And I go and I update the mind map. I do that every, I would say, before the meeting, maybe every, before the next Wednesday, for example, I update the mind map, and during the session like today, I share the mind map. That's an automatism. I share the mind map, and the people can see, oh, the mind map is becoming, is growing. There are some proposals there. So we are building an interim process, and this interim process is made of the consortium to app to vote, mind map, Discord channel. Yeah, we have all the tools. Now the problem is always the same. You have the tool, but the people have to use the tools. No excuse, we have the tools. The problem is the time of the people. You cannot sometimes say in advance that you will be here every Wednesday. I am not, I will be a liar if I said I will be here every week, but seems to be that I am, and Giant also. For the moment.
I actually miss the breakout rooms because I was outside, but then I want to join to hear what happens to the proposal, because me and Vlad and Taras was kind of discussing that in the Google Docs, and yeah, it was nice. I want to know what happens. So yeah,
I was arriving to the conclusion. I was arriving to the conclusion today, only today. And that's make already 6 months that we are into the Genesis ƒractal, and 4 months into this, fast 4 months into this hidden ƒractal. I was coming to the conclusion, the fun part into the breakout room. I was stating this is a joke, but I also to say, what is the fun part? The fun part to be into breakout room. You come in a breakout room. I am with you, for example, and with June. And I have nothing to share because I have nothing made the last week, for example, about this hidden ƒractal. I have made nothing. I was totally busy with other things. I come and I pay you attention to what you are doing, and I give you my respect to you by attending into the breakout room. And maybe I will be leveled 1 or 2, whatever. That's not the most important one, the most important thing. And we don't have to be upset. It seems to be the problem is the time. For every people on this earth, the problem is the scarcity of time. The scarcity of time. That's a scarce resource. And when you see what is doing Maurice Vanegas with the human-generated finance for Nigeria and Uganda now, Venezuela, he has living a little bit because there was...
Yeah, I watched that video, so I was actually impressed by that.
Yeah, Maurice Vanegas was creating the UFI movement first for Venezuelan people, but there was some regulation problem there, government problem, and people in jail. Then he has pivoted. He's very entrepreneurial man. Huh? He has pivoted and he stated, all what I have created, I have to continue, but not in Venezuela. I will do that in Africa. So he has begun with Nigeria, Uganda, Republic Congo, Democratic Republic Congo, DRC, Democratic Republic Congo. They speak French there. He's moving his business there. And all the people are transacting in EOS between them and letting circulate more and more EOS. That's what we name liquidity dance. And what's mean liquidity dance? We explained that into the video with Maurice Vanegas, is $5 into the intrinsic value of EOS is more than 1 EOS of 1 EOS. The intrinsic value of 1 EOS is more than $5 into your pocket, because when you are moving 1 EOS, you are moving that to 500 milliseconds. And if you share that with a lot of people, at the end, your 1 EOS is maybe 500 EOS. It's explaining that very well into the video. And Mike Maloney, the economist Mike Maloney, that has interviewed Daniel Larimer last year about MEA, More Equal Animal book, he explained that very well, what is liquidity velocity. And liquidity velocity, thanks to EOS, we have the chance to circulate, let's circulate more EOS. So if each people is working together and let's circulate and collaborating between them by doing micro transaction, by using the EOS mainnet as a settlement layer, that's something huge. So Maurice is working only with EOS, the mainnet, the level 1 blockchain, public and permissionless blockchain and transparent. He's not using hidden on EOS on top. He has his hidden on EOS. That's his ambassadors and in Nigeria and all these people there. They are the bees. They are working between them. He has created a kind of hidden on EOS on top of EOS. He has created this UFI movement, human generated finance. That's human that generated finance by letting circulate more EOS. So imagine if us into this hidden fractal, we are doing our contribution between us, and suddenly you find that you, Giant, you are now a fan of Tadas, and you are contributing with him to do the spreadsheet and all. You have find a new way to collaborate. That's nice. There is no competition. There is just co-petition that leads to collaboration. And be connected is not enough. Be connected with someone is not enough. We have to be aligned, in alignment. That I was also hearing from someone into the Eden board member. Is from Asia, from South Korea. His name is Anryu. He stated to me into the video, Patrick, connected is great, but alignment, flowing. Because if you are just connecting your circle and you are not in alignment, that's not okay. You have to be aligned. So it seems to me that here we are finding the way to be in alignment, that is flowing naturally, not complicated. That should be simple, not simplistic, but very easy to understand the things. Because if you have to make a doctorate, or I don't know how you say that, or a lot of studies to understand a proposal, there is a problem. Seems to be that it is not only an elite of people that are very mathematical, like Jorge or Tadas. We need things very well crafted with math behind. Math is very important, yeah, for sure, to prove the system. But you need to have a good abstract that explains well. So the proposal of Tadas Albedo, the white paper, he has a nice white paper. Then he has made a good abstract. Then we have presented that into a video with Dancing Joy. If you hear this video of Dancing Joy and me about Albedo, we don't have even dive into his white paper. We have discussed what is Albedo blockchain overlay protocol in nature, in essence. And we have answered to the what, the why, and the how. That's what is about this video breakdown. So us, for Hidden Fractal, we have to give a good message aligned for the people that are not yet into Hidden Fractal, and they will understand what it is Hidden Fractal. And the same for EOS, we have to have a good message for EOS. And Zyzen Global, with ENF Yves Larose, during September, October, November, December, there will be a lot of events in Europe and also in Singapore. EOS with Antelope Web3 solution, that's nice. And Eden Fractal is an innovative startup. We are doing something innovative. That's, for me, it's a yeah baby. It's a yeah baby today. That was already a yeah baby last week, but today it's a yeah baby number 2. That's thank you.
June is asking a
Thank
question.
you, John. Thank you,
Patrick.
John. Thank you very much to have participated and to see you again for sure.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Patrick. Real quick. So the URL is where I put either a blog link or video or anything on that form, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll do that. All right.
And
Thanks
to
so much,
see
guys.
the and to see the result into the mind map, you have to wait a little bit that I have updated for sure. There is no automation because I want to see that the link that I receive are not bullshit link, you know. But I know that
hopefully you approve it. Hopefully you approve it. It'll be a Hive post, and I'm just writing just some thoughts there, and we'll
sorry
see.
that I was not participating to your invitation. You have invited me a lot of time to participate into your show, but I was not able. First, I was too much busy with my workshops and all that, and my work, and I was thinking that maybe the governance is not my cup of tea. But now seems to be that with Eden Fractal, I am happy to speak about, to address the governance, because this is for something. Because if it is just governance for doing governance, I am not a fan. But it seems to be that here, let's say Giant, we can speak, we are heard. So
yeah, actually, I actually have something else to invite you to. We have I have a startup. It's going to be initially a private organization, but it's an EOS wallet with, you get a free account, you get free resources. It's using WebAuthn, so it's passwordless. So that's the startup that I'm working on. It's just initially that we're just starting as a private organization for regulatory reasons, partly, and also to improve our network. So I'll invite you to that. And Gian, do you have a Telegram? I'd like to kind of get your Telegram, and I'll invite you as well. Happy to.
Yeah, Giant, don't be shy. Share your Telegram everywhere.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
I was shy. I was shy, but then after I joined Eden and then Eden Fractal, I am a lot more confident now. I am poking myself, poking around everywhere. So I'm in a lot of places. Yeah, I know I have Eden Fractal to thank.
Okay.
About
do
that.
you have a communication? If not Telegram, like a Discord?
You are on Discord, Giant. Tadas is also on Discord. We are all on Discord.
Eden Fractal.
Hey, Chris, I got to take off. So yeah. Hey, Chris too. Feel free to send me your Telegram, Chris. It's good to see that you're still here. And with Gian, is there a privacy reason?
No, Chris is in modus spy. He's turned now in a spy mode. He's just watching, listening. Yeah.
Okay, and I have your contact, Patrick. Thanks.
I was going to say, June, too.
I'm cooking me a hamburger right now.
Okay.
June, I was going to say that there's a lot of, I don't know if you're in the Eden Discord, but we're doing a lot of discussion. That's where most of the discussion for Eden Fractal is too. So if you want to check it out, or if you need an invite or anything like that, then I'll be happy to share with you.
There is the Eden Town Hall every Sunday at 16. No.
Yes, that's true too. We also discuss these topics a lot during the Eden Town Halls every Sunday at 16 UTC. So
the last one was
of course you're welcome there. An
epic one. I enjoy to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, 6.5 hours.
We have not really have an Eden Town Hall. We have speak between us, and then we have decided, yes, now we have to record something. But that was a nice record at the end. That was nice, and that was worth,
good talk.
That was worth the pain for me. That was into my night on Switzerland. That was late. My wife was a little bit, what are you doing? And I was answering, I am doing the good,
Hey,
my lovely wife, I am doing the good, so respect me.
Yeah, what's up, Jen?
Hey, so I was trying to search for the Eden Fractal Telegram. I'm not sure I'm finding it here.
No, we have a Discord.
Oh, it's a Discord.
Oui.
Okay.
Well, there's also a Telegram too. So the Telegram
yeah.
only has like 10 people right now, and it was kind of just backed up, but people started joining. So I'd recommend people to join there too, and we could also discuss there. But I'll send you links to both the Telegram and the Discord.
Thank
There
you.
is, there is no Telegram because no one's have the goddamn common
Oh,
courtesy. to give me the link.
June, if you go
No, there
into
is a Telegram.
June, if you go
Nobody's had the fucking courtesy to give me the goddamn link to Telegram.
June,
I'll send it to you now.
Okay, thank you.
It was never promoted previously, really.
That's for that we have the
I
I'll
don't
share in
know
the chat now.
how someone find out. I just
Hey,
happened to
notice
find it
I'm
someday.
I'm practicing my French. I've been practicing my French recently.
June, if you go on the mind map itself, I have put it here, you have all the link about Eden Fractal. You have the website, you have the Telegram, you have the Discord, you have all there. I will push this mind map for Eden Fractal. It's all that for that we contribute, that we fucking contribute. So now I am in fucking love mode.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
All
I'll add my contributions on the mind map. I'll keep that
No,
as.
you have no obligation. You can do that.
Oh, I like it. I like it because it's a good place for people to look at everything. Also, I did submit
that's a fucking
something.
love place for sure.
I did submit something by accident, so you could remove that one.
I will see that it is a joke. Like Chris, he has already sent me some bullshit into. I already did it.
I thought what I thought was when I filled out the form, I thought the URL was just your kind of like Twitter link URL or just your own URL. And then I was gonna type in stuff. I thought there was gonna be a form where you submit and type in stuff. But I guess your like the form, you have to link like upfront what you want to share in that form. So that's what the URL. I didn't understand what the URL was actually in the beginning.
URL is just a link to a YouTube video or to a Google document or what you want.
Yeah.
URL is a universal resource locator.
Oh yeah. Don't worry. No.
I was thinking I have maybe to rename that into web link. Like this, everyone understands what it is. Sometimes the words are too complicated and the people are not understanding nothing. So
yeah, just maybe put.
I agree with Dan. Eden Fractal is a fantastic name. We don't have to change it. It's too much beautiful. You are a genius. You are a genius, Dan. I have to admit, you are the best dog in the galaxy. Don't change the name Eden Fractal. Also, if you have some people coming after you and trying to be a little bit hard, don't change the name. Eden Fractal is the fantastic name. And the imagery, and 1 week I was thinking, I was like, we are not progressing, but we are progressing a lot, and also we have to pay attention to what it is doing, Genesis One. We want that we want to pay attention to them because without Daniel Arimer, we will not maybe have the Eden Fractal ID, or maybe we don't even have the ID to do what we are doing now. So it's a great impulsion, Daniel Larimer. We have to respect him a lot. I don't want to see a war between Fractally and the rest of the galaxy. We have to.
There should be mutual respect.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. No, I was thinking, okay, you have people, they are seems to be they have a threshold on their head and they want to do the things rapidly because maybe tomorrow it's finished. There are some agenda. I love some people into this Eden Fractal. Felix, I love him for sure. But now I think he's also seeing he can not only push his thing, he has also to take in account. I don't say that he don't pay attention to Genesis Fractal, but the last Eden Town Hall that we had on Sunday, there was Chris So CAC, myself, Chris Barnes, and Nicola, and we have speak a long time, until that we record at the end. And basically, all what we were speaking is about speculation and thinking that maybe that will be not go as we want with Genesis 1. Who knows? Who knows? I would say in some years from now, we will looking the dot backward, and we will say, thank you, Daniel Larima. I hope, really, I am for the good. So I follow you.
Yeah.
Not like a sheep, huh? Attention. No. I know why you are doing all that, Dan Sinjoy. I got you. You are a good dog in this galaxy. Sure.
Thanks, Patrick. Yeah, I appreciate all of the kind words, and I do try to be the best dog in the galaxy. And you make good points there too. And I think that what we're doing with Eden Fractal and Genesis Fractal, like we're all doing really, really exciting and really helpful things for everybody. And I think this meeting was especially exciting in many ways. I love all the contributions that June has brought, and June shared a lot of great insights and ideas and stuff like that. So yeah, thanks so much, June, for joining us.
Before to leave, we never leave with something fun at the end. We say always in chorus at 3, 2, 1, 0, we will say, go Eden Fractal. So 3, 2, 1.
Go Eden Fractal.
Go Eden
Fractal.
And then next attempt, we will say at 3, 2, 1, 0, we will say, go fractally. 3, 2, 1, 0, go fractally.
Go fractally.
Go me. Go you.
And the last one, and the most important of all, at 3, 2, 1, 0, we say go EOS. So you know why? Because since the beginning, EOS has in it the fractal paradigm. So now, in chorus, 3, 2, 1, 0,
go EOS.
Go EOS.
Go EOS.
And I have a nice song. And I have a nice song to finish. I have a nice song. 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 I have to sing. I have to sing something. Okay.
Patrick must sing.
No. With my clothes, with my.
But also,
eyes,
Gene has to go. I don't want to hold you.
With my eyes closed. No, a short one, and with the eyes closed. Total inspiration. Let me go.
It's probably 5 minutes long.
I love Eden Fractal because we are here since 4 months soon. I love Eden Fractal because you are beautiful people that are working together to make a good collaboration. And maybe one day we will be in alignment, taking into account all the ingredients, all the food on the table of the Genesis Fractal 1, and also even more inter-blockchain communication with EOS, the best one. Yeah, baby.
Thanks a lot, Patrick. Take care. Have a good one, guys.
All right, see you, June. Thanks so much.
See you soon, and please cut this part. And
as far as not being cut, Patrick,
no.
You're saying it's for everybody.
Part, make that unlisted mode into your YouTube channel, and it's just for us. You know, it's just for us.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to keep the end, Patrick.
Do what you want. Do what you want. You are the new dictator. So do what you want.
He's always recording.
Yeah, it's all recording. It makes it much easier to just post it. So I think that makes it a really nice ending, Patrick. So I think we should keep it, definitely.
Can you stop the recording now? I have just something to ask.
Yes, I will stop the recording. I'm just walking my computer right now. Stop it in 5 seconds.
I am Satoshi
Nakamoto. And I am Dot, his brother. So please
you heard it here first. All right.
Stop the recording. Stop the recording. It seems to be that.
Well, actually, okay. So to stop the record. Okay, yeah. So I can do this. Okay, thanks everybody. See you next time. Bye bye. 3, 2, 1.